Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
I'm going to go on mute for just a moment to deliver Liz some pizza.
That'll get you some brownie points right there.
Oh, hey, I have a question. Uh, so with talents, can you take a talent only once, or can you buy it multiple times?
It depends on the talent. Each time you buy it again, it's one tier higher. So if you take grit 4 times, you'll take grit as a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3, and a tier 4.
Okay, I see. And so if it starts at like a tier 2 and you buy it from there, it's then a tier 3, then a tier 4, then a tier 5.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
because like quick draw, if you do wield, a lot of folks will want 2 ranks of quick draw
Well, I
because
saw there was an upgraded version of Quick Draw, so
yeah, there is an upgraded version of it. But you can totally that way you can pull out 2 weapons as one incidental.
okay. Yeah, I was just looking at it because it's just some of the things like when I was reading, going like per you can like do stuff per rank of it, and I'm like, there's only one rank of it, so I wasn't sure. Like for example, I was looking at scavenger intuition, which is after your character makes a successful check to recover scrap, they may use this talent upgrade an amount of scrap they found, no greater than 10 times the rank in scavenger intuition to superior scrap.
Yep,
And so I was
exactly.
like, that's really cool, but how do I get more of it? So okay, so got it.
Ooh, I almost forgot just how sticky of a situation you guys were when we left off.
Yeah, so I was trying to remember what happened last time, and then when I loaded it up like an hour ago, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what's happening.
There was that hole in the drones because bad dice. Bad dice.
Terrible bad dice.
3 threats and 6 little drones came up to say hello to you guys.
Way to go.
So I see almost everybody is in roll 20, but it looks like we're missing David.
Mm-hmm. Who's also not in voice chat.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o.
It's like, where's the medic?
Well, while I might not be a trained medic, I do at least have 4 greens. So
It's something.
yeah,
That's better than the rest of us.
yeah, it's better than nothing, you know.
As everyone gets the chime from my Facebook message.
Ba-ting. Oh, he hasn't looked at the chat since midnight yesterday.
Oh no, he fell asleep.
I did, but I set an alarm, so.
It is definitely one of those Sundays that a nap would be awesome if it could happen.
It's too fucking hot here right now for me to nap.
Oh,
Bro,
too
you
hot
used
on
to
the
live in
East
Arizona. The
Coast.
hell you mean?
It is
Yeah,
so
but
humid there.
yeah, the
It's so humid, and my
80% humidity is.
yeah, and my AC just cannot cope with it. Like this thermostat is set to 70, and it's like 70 on the middle floor. It's like 60 in the basement, and then it's like 90 up here.
And of course, with that crazy humidity, it's probably icing up the condenser coils something fierce.
I don't know
Yeah,
what you're talking
probably.
about. 90 is like incubation temperature, man. Nice and cozy.
Not with the level of humidity. No.
No. Because you're just
90
like
with 90% humidity is swamp ass.
you
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
feel like you went swimming in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I swam to
Swimming
my
in
desk.
sweat.
Yeah, I am definitely not a fan of high humidity environments because it is literally swamp ass.
Yeah, I lived there for a long time. I know your pain.
Well, my plan is to get back to Tucson Next couple of years.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Trick is waiting for a good job that uses your degree to open up.
Well, that's never gonna fucking happen. It's the trick of waiting until I can find something where I can work 100% remote, and I feel comfortable doing that.
See, that would be awesome.
Well, at least COVID made it possible to work remote, so.
I mean, it's always been a thing in software engineering.
Yeah.
Yep.
I need to decide what I want to eat for dinner, though.
That sounds like a good plan.
Super Japan. That sounds like a terrible choice.
I'll be right back. Since we're waiting for David to respond, I'm going to go feed the animals real quick.
It's a terrible choice I might go with, but it's almost certainly a terrible choice.
I'll be right back, guys.
It's all Chinese food. What the fuck? That's false advertising.
Oh shit, man.
It's horseshit. If I want Chinese food, there's 2 other Chinese places near me that are
No, if you want Chinese
perfectly
food,
good.
then you gotta go to Super Korean, okay?
Yeah. No, that's a pho shop. Checkers. I can go for a burger. That's something we don't have in Tucson anymore.
Checkers.
Checkers, rallies.
Yeah, they don't have them in Chicago anymore either.
Yeah. We used
Never
to have
had
a we used to have a couple in Tucson. The one I can think of the most is now a Los Betos. They're at Grant and Dodge. That used to be a Rallies. You can tell because the drive-through goes on both sides of the building.
No, we got In-N-Out Burger now.
Yep. I don't even like In-N-Out, but like occasionally it's good. Their milkshakes are good.
Yeah,
Their burgers are fine. Their fries are cardboard.
well, that's because they could do that little skinny horseshoe, or not the
No.
horseshoe, but like the shoestring type fries.
No, you can do those kind of fries and have them still taste.
Yeah.
They just don't. They're a little more palatable if you get them well done, but funnel cake fries, Jesus Christ.
What?
It's just funnel cakes in the shape of fries. It comes in one of those sleeves
Kind of
for fries, and then it has
It's basically
powdered sugar on it.
churros. Basically like churros then, yeah. Okay, that's...
I want funnel cake now. I haven't had funnel cake in years.
Yeah, me either.
I think I
it's
might go
impossible.
pure fat boy on this and actually get Checkers.
Oh, here in Tucson, like I haven't been able to get Krispy Kreme. Like when I tried DoorDash or even going there, it's always been closed, and I'm like, what the hell, Krispy Kreme?
That's just how Tucson is with Krispy Kreme.
Well,
Yeah,
that's how
and
it is pretty much everywhere nowadays.
Yeah, but what is will be again is just how Krispy Kreme always is in Tucson.
Well, they kind of screwed themselves when they started selling at like gas stations and grocery stores.
Yeah, the only time I ever went to Krispy Kreme was for Day of Dozens, 12/12, because fucking buy one get one free dozens of donuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. Now I don't have a cat climbing up on top of me for food.
I like that at Checkers you can specify to add fries to the sandwich, like to the burger, like on the burger.
On the burger.
Yeah,
Huh, that's pretty cool.
the way God intended.
I don't know about fries. An onion ring maybe, but fries, I don't know.
So methinks David is not going to be joining us today.
I concur with that.
So it seems.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he fell and bonked his head or something.
He is old.
I'm talking about in game.
Oh, well, yeah.
God damn.
Listen here, you whippersnapper.
Yeah, my young 48 years.
Well, that's still older than me, so.
That's not saying much.
I've got game books older than you, son.
You probably do.
I think we all do.
probably do. But my parents are so cheap that we still have shit from before I was born. I'm 24. We still have,
Yeah,
we still have the
still-
same toaster from like the 80s that they fucking got. It's
I
barely
still
works.
have a lot of shit from before you were born, dude.
Well, honestly, a toaster hasn't really had any major technological
Yeah, it still
advances
works.
since
True.
then.
Well, it actually doesn't work. Like, for example, when you put it
Oh.
on the toaster form, it only does one side. If you put it on bagel, it toasts both sides.
Eh.
Wait, you have a 20-year-old toaster that has a bagel function? Oh my god, that was like high end.
Now,
I
if you
mean-
were talking about his socks, that'd be a different story. But a
Yeah.
24-year-old toaster's no big deal.
I mean, it's a toaster. If it hasn't burned your house down, it's doing its job.
Yeah.
Does it get hot? Yes. Has it exploded? No. It
No.
works.
It's
Does
perfect.
Does it burn bread to varying levels? Yes, that's its job.
The
2 settings: raw or scorched.
yes,
Are
exactly.
scorched.
There is
Those
no
are-
in between.
Yeah, those are
However-
the only settings.
However, we can give you a combo where it is both raw and scorched at the same time. We can't tell you how because that would ruin our business secrets, but we can do it.
That is the magic.
What's
Yeah.
great
We
about it is if you put it in and it comes out raw, you put it in again at the same setting and it comes out scorched.
Yeah.
We call it the microwave function. It's both boiling hot and ice cold at the same time.
Yeah, God, there were so many things that I wanted to buy for talents, but I ended up deciding to not spend any XP so I can get another rank in planet geography.
Yeah, that would be
Wise.
nice.
Wise decision.
Because
I hope
at
it
this
helps.
point, the way it's going, I need just 35 XP to up it twice now so that I at least have a chance.
Wait, why did you do planetary geography and not astrocartography?
No, James said it's the same because basically
yeah.
they took astrocartography for planetary geography. So we can use either or skill for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're just using
So-
Astro.
but he's putting the points the
Astro
right
for
Does
the
way.
anybody
balls.
have enough metal to buy a Destiny point?
Oh wait,
No.
I actually have 11 metal this time. So
There you go.
so it's automatic cash in, and I'm a super soldier this game. Let's go.
Well, all it does is get
Super
us
soldier
one
with
Destiny
one
point.
destiny point.
Hey, that's more than zero.
Yeah, it's either you can get us a destiny point or you can become inspired or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, no, I'm taking a destiny point.
Okay, by all means, I got 2 story points. Here comes the update for you guys. You are a super soldier for 2 actions. So did you guys want to do RPG a day real quick?
What's today's again?
Sure.
Today's prompt is, let me go ahead and pull that bad boy up. For August the 6th, RPG a Day 2023 is the favorite game you never get to play. And it's RPG based.
Mm-mm.
So favorite RPG game you never get to play. I mean, I already know my answer is totally Blades in the Dark. Not sure if you guys have had a chance to play with it or finger through the book, but it is a great Powered by the Apocalypse game. Excuse me, I was all choked up over it. That it's totally in a steampunk world where you're playing a group of through and through thieves. It's got that Peaky Blinders feel of your gang works as both leveling up your gang and playing in your regular day-to-day missions. So you got the mini game of anytime your character gets too much heat, which is a metric, you get arrested, and you can either play a alternate character because it's Powered by the Apocalypse. It takes 15 minutes to knock a character out. An alternate member of your gang until your gang frees that guy to get back into the gang, because you can either bribe, break out, or serve your time to get out of jail, which is always fun. You can totally lose your character to death and come back as a revenant or a ghost. The one drawback in the setting is that whenever someone dies, a bell tower in town rings, and a crow that is spiritually sensitive starts circling the city looking for where the person just died. So murdering people is a dangerous aspect because, all of a sudden a bunch of crows start circling your killing field. Because in this world, there's a lightning field that protects the very Victorian city to keep all the evil shit outside of town. And there's basically government paid ghostbusters who go to put spirits down to make sure they don't come inside the town. And murder's a quick way to have a bunch of ghosts pop up inside of town because, you just made a bunch of ghosts.
No.
You don't say.
Ghosts, I would never.
But if you've ever played Dishonored 1 or 2, it is totally a role-playing game for Dishonored, but even darker than Dishonored.
There's a second Dishonored?
Yeah, dude. The second one's got an even better story than the first Dishonored.
Well, Joseph, you have some gaming to do now.
Right. Or at least watch a YouTube channel to watch the playthrough, because the storyline is worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you finish Dishonored 1, you know right where Dishonored 2 is picking up from.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of RPGs that are my favorite, I play all my favorites. That's what I do. If it's not one of my favorites, I don't play it.
I mean, before RingCon, Avatar Legends was on my list, and I finally got to play with Magpie Games on that one.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you ever get a chance to play it, the combat system for a Powered by the Apocalypse game is completely different than any other, and it is an awesome, very martial artsy feeling combat. And you don't have to be a bender, which is nice.
I liked the Rift's setting with the old Palladium version. The setting was cool, super detailed, really interesting. Completely unplayable game.
Speaking of RPG books older than Anshin, I used to play Rift constantly in high school, used to jam it constantly in high school. It takes a very special group with a great rhythm to get the combat system to work.
I mean, if we're talking about games that just have a specific aspect that we love, Dark Heresy, because of the fucking crit tables.
Yeah.
My God.
It has that old school crit table crunch, but the mechanics is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. It sucks as a system, but God, that crit table. Crit table's so good. I don't know. A game that I did enjoy playing that I just haven't gotten to play, and I blame Mark for this because it just never managed to get it together to play, is fucking Star Trek, the FASA version.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically just original Traveler reskinned as Star Trek.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the character creation.
And I never really heard of any groups really getting off, on a regular campaign of that too.
Yeah. I mean, the folks we had, it was great. We could have done great, but then we just COVID.
Yeah. COVID can derail
COVID.
so many plans when it came out. Look at
Like,
how much we went from in-store to virtual only.
Yeah, we managed to do 3 6-hour sessions, month after month after month, and then it was April 2020. And it's like, oh fuck.
Then this little pandemic thing happened, and that kind of messed up everybody's plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else got a favorite RPG game that you want to play but you've never gotten to play?
Well,
Immortal.
Oh, are we talking the bootleg rules?
No, the first edition.
Okay.
Our group was one of the original. I mean, apparently we ended up in one of the fucking books somehow.
I only ever got a hold of the bootleg beta version of that.
Because our GM knew the creator. Well, met him at Gen Con.
Isn't Gen Con going on right now?
It is happening this week, actually.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But it's no longer in Geneva, so. Well, it hasn't been in Geneva in a long time, but.
Yep. It's no longer Geneva Con. It's now General Con, Generic Con.
No, it's Indianapolis Con.
It's another Midwest Con.
It was called a Gen Con because the Gygax and a bunch of his friends lived in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And then it was in Milwaukee for the longest time, but then they pissed off the convention and moved to Indianapolis. Like, what, 15 years ago?
Yeah, now it's its own monster.
Yeah.
One of these days, Gen Con and Dragon Con are both on my bucket list to one of these days get to go to.
One of these days.
I have never been to any cons in my life, so.
What? You have like 4 regular cons in Tucson you need to go to.
Yeah, go to Tucson. Go to RingCon.
In less than 30 days is Tucson Comic-Con, and they've got a huge gaming track this year. I mean,
that's
the
true.
price
They've
is
really
now...
They've really upped their board gaming stuff in the past
heck
years.
Yeah. I mean, last year they were partnered with RingCon, so they had RingCon and Comic-Con happening half at the con, half at RingCon's hotel, which was interesting. But they pulled it off pretty well with tons of gaming, nonstop. But it sucked because you miss half of Comic-Con because you're going to just games at gaming. Because if I'm gonna get my gaming in, I'm gonna get gaming in.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of board gaming community around here, compared to Tucson.
Yeah.
Tucson's ridiculous.
Tucson has options.
How many board game stores and magic shops and all that stuff are there in Tucson? Like fucking 20?
I think we're up to 8 now.
Yeah.
Well,
it's nuts.
You got Isle. Yeah, you got Isle.
You have the 3 TGG locations.
Mm-hmm. There's 2 new shops that are out in the Rita Ranch area.
Heroes and Villains, or whatever the hell that's called.
Yep. There's Top Deck. There's
Bookman's is getting in on the action.
Bookman's,
even the Barnes and Noble.
I was there today.
There's one place up in Casa Grande. I'm blanking the name on it.
Yeah, but that's not Tucson.
Yeah.
There's Polyhedron, even though they suck and no one ever wants to go there.
Yeah, we don't like those guys.
Yeah, no one likes those guys.
Who?
It's a game shop over on the north side by Tucson Mall, just north of it. But their owner's not a nice person and doesn't use good business. Well, doesn't use proper business etiquette.
Yeah, he's a transplant from Vegas, and he basically got kicked out of Vegas for just having such a terrible, toxic community attached to his store.
Yeah.
And so he brought it here.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
But hey, if you want to GM games up there, they give you free fountain drinks for GMing games.
It's true. They do have a soda fountain.
I spent a year at TTG GMing. It was bad. Oh god.
Yeah.
But then again, it was the time before like Wizards of the Coast stepped in and actually had them like do good practices. So
yeah.
Well, the best time was if you ever got to GM D&D was back when 4th edition came out, and Wizards of the Coast actually had the support packets. And your reward as a GM was you're getting some cool battle mats and some minis and stuff. So there's total you scratch my back, I scratch yours payback happening. And it basically rewarded the store for buying the packets to give to the GMs to run the game, and then the GM gets to keep swag. That was the highlight, in my opinion. Back when you had lair assaults, which are killer dungeons that your players knew walking in the door. This is a killer dungeon. Bring your A game, or you're left on the floor.
Yeah, basically all of the killer dungeons were just even worse versions of Tomb of Horrors.
I wouldn't say worse. I mean, Tomb of Horrors is a total FU to the players back to back to back to back. The lair assaults, they were pretty, if the GM gave the clues they were supposed to give to their players in the packets that I've seen, they pretty much told you, hey guys, don't go left, go right, but you need the equipment in your equipment list to get past this thing you need. There was no orb of annihilation in a stone's mouth to get shit and giggles as people crawl through and destroy themselves. I mean, we all know when Gygax wrote Tomb of Horrors, it was because he was on GM burnout, and he just wanted to wipe out some high-level characters.
And it was beautiful.
Because everything he did wiped out the characters and their equipment so their teammates
runs
could loot
through it as just a cheap one shot, and God, it was so good.
well,
Hey,
I
it was
guess
just
we know
basically a campaign reset.
Yep, that's exactly what it is murdering everybody so you can start over fresh in the game.
TPK.
Or you could just say, hey, let's start something new.
True. You mean communicate with your players? What?
Oh, my bad.
GM burnout can be
What are you
totally
talking
avoided
about?
by just communicating with players. And communicating with your GM.
True. Like, I was able to finish a 2.5-year campaign last Saturday, so
Nice.
yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Well, I got a friend who's actually at Gen Con right now. They're on like 23 years on the same campaign.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
And at that point, they're godly and going to smack down everybody.
All of my long campaigns are on hold basically until either I move back to Tucson or I get up the willpower to start doing it on Roll20, which I don't want to do D&D on Roll20. It's so much more work.
Yeah, it's a lot of data entry.
Like, Genesys is a lot easier to do on Roll20. It's still some work, but it's not nearly as much work as just running D&D is.
I mean, you can fill out your lobby with NPCs and things pretty quickly in one afternoon for a month or 2 months worth of gaming material. So, since I think we got a little off topic for hashtag RPG Today 2023, does anybody else have any RPG game they want to throw out there?
I don't have any RPG games because I pretty much played them, but I do have a few other games.
You have no RPGs sitting on the shelf that you haven't played yet? That's almost criminal.
Well, I really only play Genesys and 5e. That's about it. I don't really play any others because none of my friends do.
Convince them to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Okay, so
it's
Raymond
like D&D,
plays
but better.
Pathfinder. I know. So Raymond plays Pathfinder. I have only played Pathfinder a handful of times, so I do know what's up and about Pathfinder. But I do never play it, so I guess you could say that's one. I guess I'm not itching for it because I play 5e, but there's benefits and drawbacks to both. 5e is easier. Pathfinder actually answers the important stuff. So
Yeah, well, it's just more in depth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Pathfinder is so likable, because they actually have set rules and standards and things for everything, so that there won't be any confusion and people have to make up stuff on the go. And
It's also been around longer than 5th edition, so.
yeah, and I mean they're also getting rid of 5th edition, or trying to at least.
Still not
So,
sure if I'm like
wait, actually, there
100%
is
into like.
one.
Oh, what you
There is
got?
one RPG I just remembered. Yeah, I'm Cyberpunk Red.
Ah, that is a good one.
I don't really get to play that, so yeah, that is one. I am a huge fan of Cyberpunk, so and I was even able to homebrew it to where it was in 2077 times too. So, but yeah, I don't get to play that. So,
Got to play some Genesys Shadow of the Beanstalk.
Yep, that's a good one.
I like that one. I like that one.
don't know what that is.
It's their cyberpunk sort of noir setting.
Yep.
Noir. Oh.
It's Genesys doing its version of basically Cyberpunk. Technically, it's the Android setting, which is when Wizards of the Coast bought Cyberpunk. They made their version of Cyberpunk as Android, which Android's got some really cool features to it. I just got to throw that one out there. If you're looking for something fun to play Cyberpunk wise, the weapons are cool, the tech is cool. It's it is if any
The setting is pretty
sci-fi
solid.
Yeah, the setting is really solid, and they've got some good fluff books that came out before they lost the IP, which is the problem, because Asmodeus let the Android IP go, which still annoys me because they made a really good book, really good settings, really good fluff books, and now technically they don't own it anymore. So that is definitely kind of rough. But the classes and the archetypes they made were freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that reminds me.
Also, the whole thing takes place in the shadow of a goddamn space elevator.
Yep, that's
there was
the
actually
Beanstalk.
one board game I wanted to try though that I never got to. It's The Expanse. There's apparently an RPG board game for The Expanse.
There's an RPG, but I read through the book at one point, and it's basically just 5e with, slightly different numbers. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm good with that then.
Yeah, it's 5e with a lot more hard science tossed into it. Totally throw it out there for you with Shadow of the Beanstalk. You could totally play The Expanse using their rules, because they even have the loonies, which are basically your belters and low gravity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after all, in our one Shadow of the Beanstalk Cops series, somebody even used a certain belter detective's photo as his character's, inspiration.
Yeah, I don't know who that could have been.
And somebody played him almost as dirty as that cop, too.
If you had given more time, I could have been dirtier. I didn't beat any orphans in that one.
Oh, Jesus, that escalated.
I mean, the 2 campaigns before that, I beat orphans multiple times.
Oh, yeah, and in the steampunk one.
Yeah,
obviously,
I was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Somebody doesn't
Victorian
listen to the Friday night game.
Mm-hmm. It was great.
I mean, the little scamps did have it coming. They were trying to steal you blind.
Yeah, they stole from me. It was the Victorian era, and so the only proportional response is breaking all of their bones. How else are those kids going to learn?
Well, yeah.
You could only just break like 1 or 2. I'm pretty sure the message would still get across.
Nope, because then they could still crawl away.
Oh, he only broke 2 of their legs. I mean, they were just normal human children.
Mm-hmm. I did beat them with a cane, though.
They did not have tentacles yet.
Yet. If Eric had his way, though, they would have afterwards.
Our Aethermancer was totally wanting to give everything tentacles. Though he did give birth to a god.
A tentacly god, but a god nonetheless.
Am I high right now? What the?
The Friday night games with. So I don't know how they are lately because I haven't been watching
They've been
as
very
religiously as I should be. Yeah, but like when Eric and I played together, we feed off of each other. It is absolutely unhinged sometimes.
Rusty. I miss Rusty.
Weird West game has been very, very passé compared to the previous ones.
You just gotta get me in there as the evil priests more.
I don't know. I felt so bad for you when you came in as the bad guy. I mean, they had handicapped him so badly to that point.
That's fine. I'm happy to get my ass kicked as the bad guy. That means the good guys win.
I mean, on the plus side, now the town of Wormwood is full of ghosts and specters and evil wraiths because they were focused on killing you as the big season finale bad guy and ignored the bad guy they chose to face, which was the witches and the ghosts. So because they were busy trying to stop you, who was also trying to stop the witches because the group was failing to stop the witches from their evil hellmouth spell, the whole new thing comes. And the beauty is, yes, the priest will be back because he totally has the whole phylactery thing going on.
Yep.
That as soon as he dies in whatever hell dimension the Native American shaman put him in, he will reconstitute in the church. The unhallowed church.
Yeah, no. Uneasy alliance is always a good trope.
Mm-hmm.
They need my help.
So, Salvage.
Salvage.
Where last we left off, and I totally still have not gotten a response from David, I think. Yes, I have not. So I'm assuming he's not making it. Obviously, he went up the rope, and he will totally be ready to help you guys when you get back up here. So where last we left off, that Wastelander totally, that Duster gave you the directions to a hole to a uncovered temple of the Onai. You guys found the hole. You threw a line down. You carbinered yourselves all up to the line, and you're slowly descending. You know for a fact there's some worker alien droids doing whatever work their busy work is down there. And as you're coming down, somebody was totally, and I won't say Sniggly Widget's name, looking around to see what he could see, and apparently must have looked around and said something in awe because 6 little flying drones came up and encircled you guys. And they've got their little drone pea shooters pointing in your general direction. And let's bring up that initiative order and see if there's anything there. So we know it's been magic names.
And how far are we from the floor?
You're about a good medium distance. You
You
are technically on the cable, so
Yeah.
if you wanted to hit the, because right now you're going safe and slow. If you want to hit the very fast, I would only require a easy check to avoid having to take shortfall damage. So you'd have an easy roll, and if you fail that, then you would have to worry about, doing a shortfall damage.
Alright. Easy, and that would be what, like athletics?
Athletics or coordination.
Got it. Okay.
So everybody go ahead and roll up some initiative there. And I'll give you guys a second or two to plan before I say, and who's going first?
Is it vigilant or cool?
This is totally going to be unexpected, so vigilance.
Got it. Actually, I don't know why I asked that. It's the exact same.
Well, no, it's an important question. I mean,
Ooh, not a single success.
oh,
To be fair,
they didn't get it either.
the Hornets also didn't get any successes.
That's
So what?
this
We
is
just all go
gonna
at
be
the
a
same
weird
time.
day. This is gonna be a weird day.
James, it's just an addendum onto last night's rolls. I still haven't rolled a single die face with a success on it.
dice have been really rough.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you should reset the API.
Yeah.
Give us a new
Reload the
random
script.
generation seed.
Wow, this is interesting. Let's clean this mess up. Okay, so any conversation you guys want to have with each other before all hell starts happening?
Cybele suggests that we stay passive until attacked.
Is there a medium speed this cable has? Overall, I do kind of
I
agree with
described to
Cybele
you
that.
is the medium speed, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, there is fast if you just want to roll a medium fall.
Nah, I'll pass on that one. I do kind of agree with Cybele is that maybe they're not going to attack unless we threaten them. Maybe. But getting down, like until we get down, we're sitting ducks.
Yeah, let's just keep heading down.
Cybele agrees.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to suggest speeding it up. I don't know if others agree or not.
I mean, how many rounds is it going to be till we touch down on the ground if we continue at our normal speed?
It will be 3 rounds for you guys to all be on the ground.
So, like 2 for us and 3 for them because they're
Yep.
higher up, or 3 for everybody? Okay.
Okay. I think we just keep going down slowly, not drawing attention.
Yeah.
And they are
Until-
definitely keyed in on you guys. I mean, they are identifying you and they're checking you out. You see little antenna thingies on their heads are wiggling as they're trying to communicate with each other. They're trying to figure out what you guys are at the moment.
Well, as long as they're not sure, they might hold off on shooting at us. Might.
And quick question of what weapons are you currently wearing?
I've got a scrap sword and a bow staff.
I've got a scrap rifle slung across my back and scrap knuckles hanging from my belt.
Cybele possesses a scrap shooter.
I'm assuming you've got it slung on your back?
Scrap rifle.
Yes.
Yeah, on the
Or
back.
are you holding it at the ready?
While
Cybele will not
descending.
hold a weapon until she is fired upon.
I mean, you could totally be badass commando guys and have it at the ready.
Cybele thinks that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So who's
Just a little
going
bit.
first?
Who's operating the winch?
I
Sarah,
believe
right?
that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
thought so.
I'll go first and I'll start taking us down some more. Normal speed.
So it's going down normal speed. It's totally going to go at the end of the turn. Makes life easier. So nothing else, just keeping your finger on the button.
Yep. Though I mean, do the little drones spend any extra time on Cybele compared to the rest of us?
They have just circled you guys in a little semicircle coming down, so they have yet to really do anything yet other than encircle you guys.
Okay. Yeah, then that's all I'll do.
Okay, so who's going next?
I'm all the way at the top. I gotta wait till I get to the bottom. So.
I mean, there's always
there-
things you can do. I mean, you can use skills. You can, always
There
holler.
is something I would like to do if you guys are fine with it. I would like to roll Oni lore to see if I could recognize these drones or these drones. If I know that they're like a certain type that is around like many of the different like places, what their like main directive is that they normally do, and just general stuff like that.
Basically, reading their behavior from what you've heard and what you've seen yourself. I gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and give me a Oni lore roll.
Got it. Hey.
Hey, you have one advantage. What would you like to use for that?
Let's see. I guess the next person to go that wants to do Oni lore or something like that gets a blue.
Okay, so you throw out some Cybele talking head techno babble about these guys, which you immediately identify them as Oni Hornets. They're fairly common-ish. The majority of the times, they're just there to either run errands or, more importantly, protect places. Usually, they're known as little bodyguard guys that work in tandem. So obviously, the 6 of these little guys, you believe that they're totally working in unison with each other. Conveniently, 2 groups of 3 each, and they're usually not aggressive unless they're like protecting a place they were set to protect. Or specifically, if they've gained sentience, sometimes they get uppity because the little bastards run around like wasps, shooting anything they see. And the way they're acting, you definitely get the idea that these are in drone mode because they're working completely in tandem, and they didn't just like guns a-blazing shooting at you. They're inspecting you. Their little beam lights are waving across all of you guys, taking you guys in, trying to figure out, are you threat or not. I mean, you did just fall through their roof, so you have a feeling that it's a 50-50 chance that they could be cool, or they could shoot you the second that your boots hit the ground. Because if they were told to say protect this area, if you're just floating in the air, you're not a threat yet. But if you put boots on the ground, that could trigger if they're here to defend the place. I mean, obviously, this was an outdoor building at some point that the dunes have covered, buried. So it's like a 50-50 shot of whether they will jump your asses when you hit the ground or just observe you and follow annoyingly around.
Okay, Cybo will relay this information to everybody else.
All right.
And I believe that will be my turn then.
Followed by a very clear, if you shoot them, they will shoot back.
Yes.
Because sometimes you need to tell your team that. So with that, who's going next? Oh wait, that's them.
I'm just dangling there.
Worst time for 3 threats ever. Does anyone else feel exposed and naked hanging on a giant steel cable?
Yes.
Do you even need
No,
that?
I'm completely safe and stable and feel great right here, as I am. Nothing bad going on at all.
And they continue to eyeball you guys. They definitely key in on Cybo. You notice a lot of little spotlights are blowing Cybo up in the circles of light, mainly because Cybo's mechanical has an energy source. They're checking that out. And you do notice those of you that have rifles or rifle-like projectile weapons, their lights kind of beam on those for like a half second before moving on. You definitely get the idea that they're totally threat assessing you guys, picking out who's got weapons, who doesn't. They don't think the bow staff or the gloves are any threats. They think those are just probably armor of some kind. But the actual projectile weapons, they definitely glanced at those.
That makes sense.
And half of them will move closer. Basically, they're in 2 triangles of 3, and the first group of triangle, it gets smaller around you guys, so they're just out of melee range, whereas the other one was at the, just inside short range. And they're definitely taking a good look at you guys. So who's going next?
I think, I'm just going to try to stay calm and chill and look non-threatening. Let me see.
Wait a minute.
What's that?
Nothing. Did my...
Is your computer doing something hinky?
No, it didn't. It didn't do my roll.
Is that why we're missing one PC?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me try it again. See what happens.
Oh, up.
Still no success.
Amazing.
Man, the chances.
They're really not that good.
Let's
Like-
see.
Like we're getting close to the having a deck shuffle repeat itself. Not good.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not that bad, but still. Considering nowhere in time ever will there be a repeat of a shuffle, but
Onai are entirely mechanical, right?
The drones are completely mechanical, yeah.
Okay.
They are as flesh and blood as your SO companion.
All right.
Cybele,
Just say not at all.
for some reason, takes slight offense to that.
So you guys
What?
are doing nothing until slowly the cable drops Sarah on the ground.
Apparently.
I'm good with that.
So we're at top of the order. Let us see what happens when the drones see Sarah's boots hit the ground.
So I mean, yeah.
As all of a sudden you notice them get kind of agitated, but they don't like killer robot mode and start, turning red lights on and shooting. They just seem very agitated. Their little antennas on the front of the units are wiggling, so they're obviously communicating back and forth with each other. And you clearly see this large one walk up with a broken, fractured block, which, Sarah, when you look around, you totally notice that it's some of the roof that it's picking up and cleaning up. There's no debris pile where the roof collapsed, but there is that annoying sand pile where you're stepping into, where the sand has been blowing in for at least a few weeks. And it's totally picking up a piece of the wreckage and is giving you no recognition whatsoever.
That's good.
It seems to give no shits to the fact that you just stepped on the ground.
Well, I'm gonna move out of the way so everyone else can touch down as well.
Okay, because at the end of this turn, the next group will hit the ground. So
Yep.
you disconnect yourself and move to the side.
Yep.
Okay, who's going next as the drama is intensifying?
Well, unless Seidel or Sniggly are going to do anything, I'll go and get down, step to the side as well. So I'll kind of go away from.
Does that mean you're disconnecting and jumping?
Oh no, I was going to wait till I was there. I was right behind
you guys
Sarah.
are still dangling a short distance in the air.
Oh, okay. I thought I was
you
like
can
real close
totally try
behind
to
her.
jump off, but you guys spaced yourselves out so you wouldn't tangle into each other.
Oh, okay. I get you. I thought I was close enough to get down this round. Okay, well in that case then I'll just continue waiting.
That's why it's 3 rounds for the highest group to touch the ground.
Gotcha. Okay.
Much like when you see guys get airlifted out in a helicopter, they space them out so they do not get tangled into each other.
It's more so you don't kick the other guy in the head, but yeah.
That sucks.
Well, you said it was an easy athletics roll.
If you wanted to jump, yeah.
Okay. Since nobody's getting attacked yet, I'll just wait it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Evan, please do not jump.
No, I'm not going to. I just since nothing's being hostile, I'm not going to worry about it.
Like the rest of you guys are unaware of the power of gravity in the Genesys system.
It sucks. It's
so bad.
Sucks. I mean, there's a reason why pushing people off horses is a viable way of wiping people out.
God, that Realms of Terror. Yeah, so this is also the Friday night game mansion.
What a shocker.
So in between the Victorian era steampunk one and the Android Shadow of the Beanstalk cyberpunk one, we had a generic fantasy one in the Realms of Terranoth setting. And we dominated one encounter by just repeatedly hitting guys that were on horse. So a bunch of people on foot, destroyed cavalry by just hitting them and then knocking them off their horse, and then gravity took them out immediately.
There's a famous battle where French peasants did that and beat the knights.
It was absolutely obscene.
In their defense,
James, do you remember how many of those cavalry guys there were? There was at least
8 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
In their defense, they were good guys. They were not going to hurt you unless you tried to kidnap their princess, which you end up doing.
We did end up doing that, yes.
In Heroes, they told me they wanted to be good guy heroes that go across the world doing things. Well, to steal one of the things they needed to steal, they joined a bandit group. And this was their initiation to go kidnap a princess.
Well, the Let's Ride talent takes care of that.
Yep, unfortunately, these Cossack basic warriors, which was where they were inspired from, as minions, they did not have Let's Ride to survive dismounting. And as soon as the group discovered this, they declared, aha, we have an exploit. Let's go for it. It was ugly. Because then people were discovering, let's just push people off horses and they die faster that way.
It was... I'm not going to say it made the game less fun, because it sure didn't. It was so fun.
It was fun as hell. But
man, it was like no challenge at that point. It's like, all right, we got like a decent hit. We got 2 or 3 advantage left over. Knock him off his horse.
Yeah.
Let the 10 damage from
and then they
falling
ran into the princess.
She
kicked a bunch of your guys' butts pretty well before she went down.
She really did.
She was a warrior princess.
Nice.
I was the group's DPS. I was a cat.
You were a badass DPS.
I was a cat.
Because
I was a cat rogue, basically.
You went for cool talents that made your range attacks more than just a range attack.
God. Ugh. Fire my bow. 3 arrows come out. Each of them does ungodly damage.
Jeez.
Pinning shots so they can't run after you.
Yeah, Kevin, I got linked 3 on my longbow.
Oh. Well, okay, Robin Hood.
Yeah, it was
Men in tights.
It was absolutely insane. The talents combo available for the fantasy setting, absolutely broken.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So broken.
And on the plus side, I mean, you guys survived your first mission where you all almost drowned trying to cross the river.
God, that was terrible. None of us had any ranks in athletics at all.
And they're like, "Let's go cross that 30-foot river. What's the worst that happens?"
God.
It's kind of like Celeste. You got so many cliffs. You get a warlock with the blast. You just knock them off the cliffs. It's like, oh, there we go.
Yep.
And then miraculously, the gear shows up at the top.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin, and speaking of Celeste, did you get the latest DLC, the Palace of Ice?
Yeah, I already finished it.
Yeah. Are you gonna get Baldur's Gate 3?
I already have it, but I'm waiting for them to finish it before I. Because I mean, I hit a few spots where video pending. It's like, what? Fuck that.
Did you guys see in the sequel for Fallen Order where you can do the test fights? You can actually set up a cliff edge to force push everybody off for insta kills. Apparently, if you force push Vader off, he just floats right back up.
It's like, no.
Well, you know, his daughter learned it from him.
Yeah.
Princess Leia's space float.
And everybody's like, how did that happen? Well, you know, you can live quite a while in space before you do whatever happens to you. So
yeah, as long as your lungs
breathe out,
don't go flapping out in front of your face.
Yeah, as long as you breathe out all the way before you exit into space.
And even then, I mean, the human body is pretty durable, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, oh yes, expansion. Yeah, okay, yeah, but you know, the human body can handle some decent pressures first too. So you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like you can put, what is it? How many gallons of water in the stomach before it bursts?
Are we referring to waterboarding?
Yeah.
Anyway, Ancient, watch the old VODs for the Friday night game. It's a trip. You learn a lot about the Genesys system.
Yep. The goal was to break every rule we could find.
Yeah, we're not gonna get much done today, are we?
Doesn't seem like.
So who's going next?
Not even on the ground yet.
We're an hour in and nothing's happened.
Don't worry about it.
We've had 2 turns.
Hey, we're still in the middle of the second turn.
True.
I mean, we got RPG Day done. That's something. We have accomplished something above and beyond our normal.
We have accomplished something.
So who's going next?
I'm just waiting until I hit the floor.
Ah, you're cleverly waiting.
And yes.
So then we'll say Evan's going next, and he's doing nothing. So we can click to the next click. And these guys will totally come down to maintain firing solution. This guy totally walking around. Let's see if I can select all of them. Ah, he's lost his head. He's totally walking away with his new favorite rock.
His head floating gently behind him.
If the head won't cooperate, the head's going away.
It's a forerunner.
And who's going next?
I'm still dangling.
Okay, so you're basically dangling and doing nothing. We'll take that as a slot. Who's going next?
Cybele shall be
dangling,
staying still.
Okay, so the other 3 will totally come and join, maintaining a firing solution, wondering what's going on here. And who's going next? Or top of the order. Yeah, top of the order. So we descend 1 more turn. Da-da-da.
All right, I will come over here and get out of the way.
Okay, you unclick and get out of the way. That's 1 person doing something. Who's going next? Gideon is totally going back up, right?
Probably.
I mean, that's David's character.
Yeah. Or we're going to say he fell and hit his head.
Ah! And he's buried in the sand.
He'll be fine.
So anybody doing anything? I mean, Sarah, you're on the ground. I mean, you could try to do something if you wanted to.
I'll look around with a flashlight just to see what's around, but mostly it's just waiting for the rest of the guys to get on the ground with me.
This large, cavernous, dark place with a single beam of light coming down. I like
You
this.
know it.
Okay, go ahead and give me your perception. Aha! So you realize that this is a very large chamber. It's like 100 foot by 100 foot.
Wait, no, hold on. That's not correct. I only have 2 greens.
What? Oh, I added 2 greens to you. So we'll take out those 2 advantages. How about that?
There you go.
So you have 1 threat for 1 strain, as you're just like, this is a large cavernous room. It's very stressful being cavernous. As you can barely see with your little flashlight piercing the darkness, but you can clearly see there is a north and south archway leaving this area, and there seems to be a very large pile to the north of broken bricks as you totally look up, and you can see that the superstructure here is very undermined. It wouldn't take much to make more of the roof collapse. To about right here, basically where your first tire is parked. You could easily do some kind of explosive or demolition and make the hole triple in size easily. Obviously, some of that acid rain must have got in here.
Yep.
And you notice that this guy totally seems to be the only active humanoid-style drone that you can see in here. Over where the bricks are to the north, you notice that there's 2 deactivated ones that seem to have been in mid-motion of doing something that ran out of power. So you do know that, it's not alone here, but it obviously moved its allies out of the way. It picked up its ally when it powered down and parked it where he parks these pile of bricks.
Yeah. There's no small non-humanoid ones aside from the Hornets?
Nope, just the Hornets.
Okay.
And you see that this guy is just plugging along, cleaning up the room, and doesn't quite know how to contend with the sand, but can totally pick up the blocks and its buddies that have deactivated. And you know that you can go north or south. There's big 9-foot tall archways. It's got the Oni hieroglyphs that you're, since you guys have been here almost a century, you are totally aware that ruins have these hieroglyphs. Maybe someone who's good in lore could, go up there and totally make up an assumption of what they think the hieroglyphs mean.
Were we told a specific direction to go when we were told about this place?
He told you there's a hole.
He just told us where it was.
Okay.
He found the hole, went down, got buzzed by some hornets, and he left.
Gotcha.
Because it was just him and his little droid, and he wasn't going to risk going down the hole with nobody topside to rescue him.
Can't say I blame him.
He was a very feeble 60-year-old man who's lived in the dust, so he is not in the healthiest of conditions.
Well, for Oni lore, I got a yellow and 3 green, so once I get down there, I can give it a shot.
You'll also have your own blue from the previous time you did Oni lore.
Yep.
It's true.
Let's see, lore. Yep, none. Go figure. The mechanic has no lore.
And the drones are basically just, maintaining a hovering pace. I'm assuming everybody is staying still until the rest of the team gets down.
Mm-hmm.
Beep. At the end of the turn, you guys finish your route.
Yeah. I say we leave the cable down. Hey.
I'm just cleaning up the picture there.
All of a sudden, it goes back up at winding speeds.
It goes back up, and then Cybele and Sniggly just let go and drop to the ground at long distance, dying immediately upon impact.
You hear someone running donuts up there, and Gideon is just laughing hysterically.
Oh my god.
Load up the treasure, and I'll send the rope back down for you.
Puts the lotion on the skin or gets the hose again.
So I mean, Gideon's back upstairs. We could send a message to the truck and tell him to move it back so it's not, at a spot that could fall in.
That's totally something you can do. I mean, you still have radio connection at this distance.
Yeah. Well, it was one of our turns.
Yeah.
Do you tell him back the car up?
Sure.
Let's look at his character sheet. I'm curious what his driving is.
Drives forward, doesn't understand how to use the Prindle.
The Prindle.
And he's like, you got it! And he's totally going to drive the truck back some. With the distance he guesstimates you tell him. As both of our drivers immediately ask, is he rated to drive something like that?
No. Don't even need to ask that question. The answer is no.
Oh, well.
As he totally pulls it up, and I'm assuming you set the cable to drop more cable.
Yeah. Preferably.
I still don't know.
As he totally backs the car up, leaving the wheels behind. And gives you that Roger that he has backed up the vehicle to a safe distance. So what do you guys do now that you're all on the ground? The little probes are actually providing you a little bit of light. It's kind of nice.
Well, let's pick a direction.
And they have you in a perfect circle with you guys in the middle with all 6 of their lights beaming down on you. And they're maintaining a nice little short distance from you.
Well, let's pick a direction.
I was thinking about investigating that writing.
Nope, no investigation. Only picking direction.
I'd say let's, just in case, go the opposite direction as that guy.
So about 50 feet in either direction, north or south, there's archways with writing. So you heading north, or are you heading south, getting in the way of the drone who's clearing up those blocks?
He's the drone is to the south.
The drone is working to the south.
Okay, so do you guys want to head north just so we don't provoke him, since it's the 50-50 either way?
Sure.
And are you guys talking loudly, hush tones? How are you guys communicating amongst yourselves here?
Hush tones.
Oh,
Hush
everybody's real close, so just hush tones.
Okay. Nice, good, casual voices that sound way louder than they are in this echoing chamber.
Echo.
You guys go up to you're heading north to avoid the drone. You see that it's made some really nice, clean piles of debris that's collapsed in here. It's got 2 deactivated drones sitting there that you could totally salvage if you wanted to. Just gonna throw that out there. They may have
Get them
no
on the way
power,
out.
but they do have parts.
Get them on the way out.
And you do notice that when you go by and look, clearly there's like some kind of separation order. There's bricks, drones, there's some like refuse of organic matter, which you can clearly see there's probably a bone or two that looks humanoid-ish, unless you want to like go in there and poke. You really can't tell. But like things have crawled in this hole or other openings from time to time in the last 1,000 years, and is organized into a pile of organic refuse.
That is a bad sign. Potentially.
You could always poke through the pile and see what you can see. And then there's the beautiful archways. It's got some kind of angelic looking Oni priest or priestess. You can never quite tell what their species. Looking down upon the binary suns, and beautiful rays of energy cascading from the Oni's skull, radiating out like as if they had a halo or a sun behind their sun. Great motif. You're just like, this is some historical shit here. This belongs in a museum. What do you guys do?
Well, I'd like to start heading toward the north, just kind of like, trying to be vigilant, being alert to the surroundings.
Is Cybele going to check out the hieroglyphs?
Yes, Cybele shall do so. So it's a lore.
It is totally going to be a lore skill.
I get a blue because of the previous check.
All right. I got the blue in there for you. As you totally gesture for your teammates to give you more light, because the probe's light in your face is a little brighter than the light you guys have got, and apparently you're being a super soldier and upgrading that role.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go for it. Wow! As you're totally looking at these hieroglyphics and you're just like, I wish I could chip these off the wall and take them back up, because down here it's obviously not a good place to try to read them, because with the different flashlights flashing and the shadows dancing, it's just like, if these probes would get that light out of my face would be great. Just as you're trying to read the hieroglyphics and you're dusting them off, probe descends right next to the hieroglyph, flashing a light right in your eyes. And it's just a little too obscure and dusty and weird lighting down here to really make out more than just, these are a great example of Oni hieroglyphs. At the very least, you think you should take pictures back. Do you say anything to
Currently,
your compatriots?
Cybele's systems of sight are being disturbed. As such, Cybele cannot currently tell what they say. But Cybele thinks we should take pictures of them for later study.
Anybody have any opinions to that? Just saying.
Take a picture.
Yeah. Yeah, just take a picture.
You whip out your pad and go click.
Click,
And,
clack, get in the sack.
Yeah, that's about it. That's
And
all I got.
are you guys walking through this very wide 9-foot arch?
That's where I was headed.
So your archway is right. Let me pick the right tool. Right here. You see it goes into a nice little 20-foot wide hallway. You see that it's not as dusty as the chamber you're coming out of, but you definitely see it is ancient stone building. Very very tight fitting stones. There's bits of Oni hieroglyphs going along the walls in like a band. Looks almost like digital print. And you clearly know from the sound you're hearing there's a large chamber up ahead this way and a large chamber up ahead this way. As I totally am going back and kidnapping some minis.
The sound?
What about the sound?
You said there was a sound.
Yeah, as if you hear that there's a large chamber up ahead.
All right. Well, like I was saying, I'm just gonna try to stay vigilant, make sure the others aren't too far behind, and if they're following along, I'll head this way.
Okay, so our firewall is immediately taking off in the lead. The squares are roughly about 20 by 20, by the way. And
Okay.
with your little flashlight in tow and the all-encompassing darkness in front of you and the darkness behind you guys, and you notice the little probes are totally zipping over your heads, keeping up with you, so they're staying just a few steps ahead of you and just a few steps behind the group, so they've now split into 3 and 3, floating above you guys, like a good 4 or 5 feet, just out of touch range. And
All right.
by staying vigilant, does that mean you're rolling some perception or vigilance? Is that what you're saying?
I just assume, like with vigilance, it's kind of like you. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I would do a roll, or
I'll do a perception roll. Yeah.
Actually, I thought vigilance was more just like to avoid surprises. It was more of a passive thing. But I could make a roll. But the other thing I was doing is I was going to secure my light, just like secure it to my chest so it lights up just whatever's in front of me, and I'll carry my bow staff like a walking stick.
Okay. So he goes, at the lead of the group, the little probes following. He clicks his light to his chest and has his bow staff out walking. And so you're looking for trouble, though, right? That would.
I am, just doing the whole vigilance thing, just keeping, I mean, perception and vigilance, it's the same thing. So I'm just I am looking out for trouble.
So, if that's the case, what is your vigilance?
My vigilance is 1 yellow, 1 green. So is my perception.
Oh, it totally looks safe up ahead.
Of course,
it totally looks safe. There's no sand. It's just a thick layer of dust in here. Once you get out of the main chamber, it totally looks safe up ahead. You're just like, you signal your friends. It's safe. Come on this way.
Yeah.
It's fine, guys.
Still doing that perception check.
Yeah. Y'all keep an eye out too. We all got to be on alert.
Okay, so our driver's coming up behind as he sees the little guys float up ahead. Give me your perception check.
Well,
it's fine. It's fine.
We're good.
Wow.
Fine.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
I mean, you guys are in a pitch black cave, basically, with flashlights. As obviously your probe friends are totally helping you out. As who's going next? And is that about how far you're staying behind Thorn?
No, these things are 20 feet, yeah.
Sarah, Cybo, which one of you guys is going next?
Well,
You're back.
Your 3 probes are waiting for you politely to go so they can follow.
Okay.
I'll move up, I guess.
Okay. Are you heading in the opposite direction as the rest of the group? Because it looks like you came through the archway and then you moved now
Yeah,
60
I'll head
feet
the other
from
way.
the archway.
I don't know, how far can I move?
Basically, short distance would be 1 square. If you want to do double move, that would be
Okay.
medium, so 2 squares.
I can barely see the squares in the background.
Oh, okay. Basically, the size of your icon, if that helps.
Yeah. So that's 2 squares. It's medium distance.
Okay, and Cybel, what are you doing? As the probes, the hornets are definitely politely waiting for you to go forward.
I will just follow behind Sarah.
So you guys are splitting up?
Split
We're
the party!
We're still all in sight of each other.
You might want to revise that statement.
Remember, each square is 20 feet. From one end of the split party to the other, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 100 feet apart from each other.
Okay, so it is pretty far.
And the corridors here seem very ancient and old and oddly clear of any refuse. Someone apparently, aside from dusting, has a great maid that does not do dusting. But everything else is maintained nice and beautifully clean in here.
All right. So, I mean, until I see something or hear something, I'm going to continue keeping an eye out and moving forward.
Okay. And just because I'm totally assuming you'd keep in radio contact with the car, as you guys came through this corridor, you notice that the radio signals leaving this corridor are very sketchy. You know, like every other word is getting through on the radio to the car.
Ay, ay, ay.
So you definitely are surmising that the further in you go, the less and less signal you're going to get.
Can't say I'm terribly surprised by that, but
Okay, and you guys are continuing to go in the
are we
opposite directions?
are we all in contact? Like, do our comms between each other work okay?
Yeah, you can totally talk
Okay,
to
so
each other
there's no
fine.
interference.
It's just
Okay.
speaking with the surface is sketchy. So you guys are continuing to move in
Yeah, I'd
opposite
say
directions?
I will just suggest sticking together. We really have no idea what we can expect, and so yeah, like continuing to keep an eye out, say that, keep moving forward. That's
But are you sticking together is the question.
guess not. Sniggly, do you want to go back after them?
Oh yeah, let's split the party. That's
And
great.
at this point, you guys notice when you look back, the flashlight beams are very distant and tiny, and you can't really see what's happening between light and light. You're just seeing light at the end of the tunnels.
All right. Well, as soon as I notice how far apart we are, I'll turn and double move back their way.
You're not going to
Yeah.
check out the archway here?
Oh, well, is it open? If it's open, yeah, I'll look through.
There is an archway, and it is not open.
Oh, it is not open. Okay. So
There
there's a door.
seems to be some kind of complicated mechanical mechanism lock that you are hypothesizing that needs to be done to open the archway.
Okay.
And over here on this side, I can tell you for you guys, the archway is open.
All right. I'll just radio over and say we came across a mechanically locked door.
All right.
Now the question is, now that you guys have split up, does anyone want to do any skills to get more information than I provided? Because I'm withholding a lot of stuff from both of you, both parties.
Well, can I do a mechanics check on the door and poke and prod it?
Okay, you're gonna mess with the door?
Well,
I'm going to step back and let him work.
more or less look at it. I mean, not necessarily mess with it.
Okay.
See if I can figure out what the mechanisms are for the locks or whatever.
Okay. I will totally say that's a good use of mechanics check. And I will totally use that as a good excuse to give you back a point.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, what's the worst that happens? You break the lock and the probes get angry with you now that we have 3 probes with one group and 3 probes with the other group? You split the probes party. The probes are now at 50% strength.
50-50. Ready?
Yep.
We ready? Ready? Wow. We are rolling freaking awesome today.
You look at this door and there definitely is, you're like, yes, there's some kind of Rubik's Cube-y crappy thing you do to open it. But obviously this was done by aliens that have 2 thumbs on each hand and only 2 index fingers. And you're just like, you shrug back at Thorn like, I got no clue.
No.
I got explosives back at the car.
Let's go rejoin them. Let's catch up. I don't feel good about splitting up here.
And as they say they're going to be heading back,
Split the party.
what does Sarah and Cybele do at their archway?
I wanted to actually do mechanics on the door too.
Well, the door is open. I mean, you can totally do mechanics check on it, but the door is open.
Oh wow, our door is open.
Oh,
your door is open. Yeah.
Do it anyways.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you want to peep in first, and then I follow you?
I'll radio over to them that our door is open, since they radio that theirs is closed.
Yeah, we're coming up. We're coming up to join you.
And then I'll
you're
peek
good
inside.
distance away, so it's going to take some time. But go ahead and Cybele, give me your mechanics check, and once we get that, Sarah, give me your perception check. You're peeking inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ready?
Yep, I've taken out that upgrade I put in there.
Hi, how are you? Oh
wow.
my god.
Still not a success. Still not a success.
You guys are adding metal, right?
Because it is a failure. Don't forget to put that back in your tally.
Can't put. Man,
I still haven't gotten any metal in this game.
So I guess advantage. Can I give the next mechanics check a blue?
Okay.
And
what do you want for the triumph?
For the triumph.
We could probably open the other door. You know.
It's actually I didn't want what I was thinking actually is that for I'm not sure if it would be I guess it might be mechanics related, but for the triumph, could I have it to where the drones do not see us as a threat anymore?
You are very delicate, and your 3 drones do not see you as a threat. I will totally say for that triumph, since the archway is open, they proceed to, as you're super delicate and fragile touching the archway, they acknowledge that you must be just another drone, and they go putting off ahead where the direction you're going.
And I would just say, Cybele has seemed to gain some sort of trust with the drones.
As it's kind of sad because their little 6 spotlights have now left the area, and it seems a little bit darker for your flashlights.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, so perception, yeah?
Yep, go ahead and give me that perception check.
That's a success. It's a threat, but it's still success.
So take 1 point of strain as you totally look around. And as you look in here, there's a large room that seems to have some containers. But the important thing that does catch your attention is across this room, it's a very, very large room. There is 2 faint orange glows that you see in the distance. At first, it kind of gets your attention as like eyeballs in the dark. But then you kind of like wave your flashlight and realize that this is a huge amphitheater of a room. And you see over in this corner here.
In this corner.
Little drawing tool there. You see a large number of drones in power down mode. They totally look like the V1 battle droids with their heads tucked and their knees bent, and they're sitting on their coccyx.
Roger.
Somebody would fall for it. Over here are 2 glowing orange orbs, which you have a feeling you know what those might be.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is something large, and you've never quite seen one of these, but these may be one of the Oni drones that you've heard people refer to them in the past as a tank, because in fact it is a large. Let's see, I used green for those guys. A large mechanical drone that has like tread and a spot where Oni mechs can climb onto it, and it's a transport. It's an APC for the Oni stuff, and it definitely seems to be powered down. Seems like storage style powered down, not like it's like broken in mid motion. And the most unsettling part is you see that this archway is open. It's a very large archway. And you see that there's, when you scan with your flashlight, because you had how many successes? Yeah, 2 successes.
2.
That there's a little trail of dust that has blown in this way. A little V of dust and dirt, which totally tells you the surface, And there's a hint of airflow that brushes your cheek coming from the open portal over here.
Okay.
And then you, of course, look at Cybele, who's figuring out this lock, and saying goodbye to Cybele's drone friends, as the drones are totally flying that direction in a very calm, steady speed, like they're curious. And as you bring your flashlight back to where you are to, basically light your feet up so your friends that are coming down the hallway, you can hear they're coming, your flashlight passes over what you can only believe is a boot print.
Oh.
That seems very, very recent, like within a day, maybe 2 max.
That's not cash money.
I mean, remember when the old timer told you about coming through the roof here, he told you he saw an orange glow when he stuck his head in here, about something about the size of his, grapefruit.
Yeah.
It means he went further than just that hole.
You believe he was honest, with your whole mind scan that you did with him.
Doesn't mean that whatever it was, it hadn't moved.
I'm gonna step into the room, being careful not to disturb the boot print.
Okay. You step over the boot print, flash your light on it, so it points it out to Cybele to don't step on that.
Yep. Nothing else happens?
Cybele will note that.
As you come in, you basically step around very cautiously and look around, and there's no change in the room at all. It's eerily silent except for the faintest of airflow sounds.
Okay.
And then you hear a snap hiss and a bright red light.
Vroom.
And then the nano swarm or Darth Vader comes out, one or the other. And you guys are waiting the few moments it'll take your friends to run down this hallway in the dark. So, Thorn and Sniggly, are you walking calmly? Are you hustling? Or are you flat out running full speed?
Brisk walk. Brisk
Hustle,
walk.
hustle, not walk, not sprint. Yeah, brisk walk,
It's a
light
speed
jog.
walk.
Okay, so you're basically maintaining walk speed. Okay, so takes a few moments, but you regroup with the group. You totally get close and see that Sarah's stepped in the archway. Cybel's sitting there waiting for you. Points out the shoe print in the ground. It clearly looks like someone's dirty boot. Obviously, if you see it, you think there may have been more that you may have missed in the previous room and in here.
Must be.
What do you guys do?
Well, since Sarah's gone in, I'll go in just kind of like cautiously. We're still on small scale or big scale though, so I'll just kind of move in and start walking into the room.
And for some reason, as you get there, you totally realize that Sarah and Cybele have lost their 3 little escorts, but you guys still have your 3 little escorts there. They're totally following behind you guys now and kind of trying to figure out how to triangle around you in some way to make sure that they maintain a security presence around you.
I'm gonna do just a quick count. How many dudes are over here?
Interesting. Go ahead and as you totally are waving your flashlight over them, you almost feel nervous that they can sense the warmth of your flashlight. Give me a perception check.
A perception check. All right.
You would
Got
like
that.
an upgrade. Let me put it in there. Got it. So quickly they burn.
Wow.
Wow, as you get super nervous because you totally notice when you're taking your head count, you literally stop counting because in the large number of drones that are there, you notice 2 of them in the group are a lot more menacing and larger looking. As you guys are salvagers, you know the basics. That aside from the regular, sentinel style drones, you see a pair of mantises, which are basically slightly larger. You guys assume they may have been combat units, but they have giant scything blades that are. You've heard horror stories of these, and built into the blades is a fairly potent short range weapon. And the fact that there's 2 of these in the middle of the collective of them, they totally look like terracotta warriors covered in dust. And 2 of them are
We're talking about it over here.
Yep. And 2 of them in the middle are taller, little more gangly with the arms, and they've got these big mantis scythe blades on them that catch your attention. And you totally lose count. But there are at least, 3 to 5 handfuls of these sentinels.
So a lot.
A small army, yeah. I mean, a small army with the tank would be like really, really bad.
Yeah, I'll point out the mantises to the others.
Rustles in the open archway ahead.
Okay. And I'm gonna.
All right. For my 3 advantage, I would like to perhaps infer. There's these things down here, right?
You clearly see 2 orange, glowing softball-sized objects from across the very large room. To you, they look like dime-sized glowy orbs, but if they're that big from this distance, they're probably softball size.
Okay. So I think could I, for those 3 advantages, everything's powered down in here, but could I infer if there is something that they're waiting for that would conceivably wake them up?
Maybe messing with the orange orbs will wake them up. Maybe making any ridiculously loud clatter might wake them up. You've heard stories from other salvagers where they've had powered down drones. They went into a complete salvage operation, and it wasn't until one dude accidentally tripped over one did it activate. Other times, one guy just yelled "ow" when he hit his nail with a hammer, and all of a sudden, a small army of them woke up and came swarming out of the opening. So if you were to say turn around and walk away, would probably not set anything off. Going over to the wall there and seeing if you can pry out the beautiful, expensive, almost priceless bioluminescent treasure might just wake them up. It's a crapshoot, especially when you're over 100 feet away from the wall to see.
So, okay.
Well, I'm going to inspect the archway, see if there's like a lever or something for why this one's open and the other one's not, and basically see what the differences are.
Okay, let me set your difficulties a lot easier because someone has done the grunt work already for you to open it.
Exactly.
Go ahead and give me your mechanics check.
Are you fucking shitting me?
Obviously, what you're seeing in these archways,
Incredible.
the doors actually fold open. So you're looking straight at the doors when they're closed. And when you open the door, however it's done, I mean, you could totally use that triumph to figure that out. They actually fall in an arching fashion left and right, and they disappear into the walls. So they don't go side to side like grocery stores. They actually pivot like 2 clock hands going clockwise and counterclockwise.
That's pretty amazing, not gonna lie.
Cool alien
cool.
tech. And however the locking mechanism is, it actually goes with the door to disappear into the wall. Which is probably why you're unable to figure out what the MacGuffin trick is, because the combination lock goes with it into the walls. But now that you see that the walls pivot this way, it's a little helpful for you as a mechanical engineer, realizing they don't go up, they don't go left and right, they actually pivot and, come off the ground, pivoting into the walls.
Okay.
I know that's not gonna make much of a difference now, but there should be a blue in there.
Why should he have a blue?
My advantage from last time, from my mechanics check. I used that advantage to give the next mechanics check a blue.
I thought it was your mechanics check, not a specific person.
I thought for the first one, for one advantage it was just the next person, and 2 advantages for a specific person.
Okay, I mean, if you want to roll a blue, Kevin, you totally can roll a blue.
No, I thought that's how it was. And
no, don't worry about it. No, we'll just use it on his, since there was confusion, and I got the triumph.
Yeah, because he still has to spend those 2 advantage in that triumph.
Okay, I just
to give you a little picture, here's the door. It pivots on a secret hinge right here and right here.
Okay, so instead of damn, you think they would go up, but no, these go down.
Yeah, so when the doors are open, they're like that. Freaking aliens.
Yeah. No kidding. Okie dokie.
Just making sure I'm visualizing what I'm saying.
So does that mean that there's like gaps here, or does this does it close in
there's
somehow?
totally gaps. It's about a good 8 inches of gap where these big hefty doors are. So how would you like to spend your advantage in Triumph?
I'll take advice on the the triumph, but for the advantage, I'll just take an advantage on the next roll.
For the triumph, I will totally say you figure out the mechanism behind it. You don't know exactly how it works, but the mechanism, you can open these doors now with just a action. It does require an action to twist and turn the little front piece here in the right
I'll
combination.
Take that then.
But for that triumph, you totally know the lock here. You know what you twist, turn, push, and then it goes, and the doors slide down with some super cool alien, super science, magnetism crap. As you're totally like, as an engineer, this is ridiculously over-engineered. It should have just been an up or a sideways motion. Pivot is a waste of energy.
They're big on, well, not to open it, but to close it. Yeah.
On the plus side, you know that these archways are extremely explosive resistant with that design. And also for the triumph, I will totally give you a hint when you look at it, because you do it in a mechanically way, looking down that 8-inch gap, that you have a feeling, an intuition even, that possibly if somebody was psychic with telekinesis, they could lock these psychically.
And our psychic is upstairs.
No, you have a psychic with you.
Yeah, but not a telekinesis psychic.
True.
So obviously, if there's a psychic member of the
I'll
Oni,
mention something to Thorn about it. Yeah.
They could totally go clink and lock it.
Yeah, but how do we close it?
With that triumph, I'll give you. You know the way to close it. Okay, basically, so on one of the bottoms, on either side, there's a little mechanism. You just push in the stone tile, and it would cause the functioning door, which this is a functioning door, to close back up.
And possibly crush you if you're not paying attention.
Oh, yeah, you have no doubt that there is no safety measures on these doors. You could easily run by, hit the button, and if somebody was chasing you, it would chop them probably in half.
Jesus.
If not you. Depending on how fast it is. Okay.
You haven't seen one in action, but yeah.
Okay, so I know about the doors. Okay.
Do you share this information?
Yes, I will share the information with Sarah, since she's the other.
Ayo.
What?
The other normal person?
Yeah.
Drivers unite. Driver Union 409 unite.
Teamsters Union.
Yeah.
You know they made it into space. If anyone's getting on the ship, it's the people who built the ships.
Yep.
So what are you guys doing in this very, very spooky room as your engineer and pilot gives you the skinny on these doors that he's figured out? And the 3 probes are standing behind him, lighting up the area, and they almost seem to be in communication, agreeing that his assumption is correct.
Yeah, he's right. That is how our stuff works.
I'm gonna, you know what? Okay. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna turn toward one of the probes and one of the little guys buzzing around us and say, "Can you guys understand us? Bob up and down if yes."
And it seems completely unresponsive.
It was worth a try.
It's worth a shot.
You don't even get the dog tilted head look from it. As all of a sudden the camera pans to the drone's point of view, and there's all these alien letters on its heads-up display, and you just see Thor look, and you hear wah 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 wah.
Wah 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 wah.
These things make noise. And they just seem to be continuing to watch you in silent observation. You still feel those two tiny little blasters on their sides pointing directly at you.
Well, I figure we can kind of start heading in a little more if you guys want to. Kind of go check out what's going on over here.
Cybel concurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You
start heading that way.
Walking in a casual walk? Are you guys being super sneaky? How are you guys walking across this large area?
Well, we still have 3 of the little things following us, so sneaky probably isn't going to be all that sneaky.
So yeah, I'll come up until I can get a better idea. Like, is this one open or closed?
That one seems to be open. Exact same kind of archway dealio. And with the sand there, it's a little more obvious that there's, multiple footprints. I mean, you'd have to actually use a skill to get me to tell you more. But there seems to be multiple footprints. You can't quite tell if they're human or drone, but there's definitely been movement through this area after someone opened it. And you're getting a cool breeze blowing through. And the sand is, you can see just the piled up sand is more in the hallway up ahead, but you can't quite see why yet.
Okay, well, I'll now. Yeah, I mean, my intent is to keep moving over that way and just keep looking around.
And I'm assuming you're giving the tank and the drones the deactivated ones a large berth, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of like trying to keep evenly distant from both.
Okay. Anyone else following the firewall into the room?
Cybel shall follow.
Yeah.
I really like how everybody's like waving you to go in deeper and look for them. And as you guys go walking in, you hear your boots on stone, echoing slightly. You swear when the wind pitches a few bits of sand into the room that you swear you saw one of the drone's hands twitch, but it's obviously just a figment of your imagination. And as you get closer to over here, you do realize that there is a large ramp-like structure here, and it's going up in elevation. But you can't quite see more until you stick your heads in the hallway. And as you get closer,
keep going.
You clearly know that, yes, there are 2 very valuable orange glowing pieces on the wall here. Does anybody wave their flashlights around them?
Cybel shall do so.
Oh.
Well, not wave, but, place it upon them.
Are you going to do a hard perception check at this distance or wait till you get closer?
Cybel shall proceed closer.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of keep heading over that direction too, and maybe get a peek through here on the way by.
Okay. So as you guys go walking by here, you clearly see that there is sand pouring in this hallway. And about right here, you can see why there's sand pouring in the hallway, because it looks like the roof has collapsed. Like we're talking massive 5 foot by 5 foot stones have crushed down and are sitting in all, they're not stacked up like a Tetris board. These bricks slid down and are just crashed, and sand and dirt has fallen down to fill in the gaps between them.
So total cave-in.
Total cave-in. It looks a little too total to be natural. But of course, someone would have to go in there to see what that's all about.
Well, I wanted to go and maybe assist Cybel checking these things out.
I mean, that is the moneymaker right there, after all.
It sure is.
Okay, so as you guys get closer, now it's only an average perception check if you want to light up the panel area there and check it out. Because unfortunately, it is still a pitch black room and you only have flashlights.
Torches.
So if somebody wants to roll a perception.
Now,
It's
just out
average.
of curiosity, if it is what I think it is, does it resonate to me as a psychic?
It doesn't resonate, but it does give you psychic static.
Okay. All right.
So it's average.
It's
what's
average
your
with a black.
Okay, ready?
what's your skill level?
Oh, I'm 3 green.
Okay, so put a yellow with it for my assist.
So you need an upgrade?
Yep. Yeah, since I'm helping, I have 1 yellow, 1 green.
Okay, so I got 1 upgrade in there for you.
Okay.
Two threats. That's a good number of threats. Not a great number of threat that I would be hoping for, but it's a good number of threat. So Cybele immediately sees that it's basically looks like a terminal to control things. Most likely these drones. As you see, there's 4 sockets, 2 of which have beautiful orange amber glowing stones bleeding energy into this little carved in circuitry looking in the wall. That you see some kind of buttons that are there that you totally want to either press or try to figure out what they do. I mean, both are really great options. I just want to tell
My one weakness, buttons.
The big red button.
So, since I'm assisting, I'm seeing this too, right?
Yep. Yeah, you're both seeing it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so it looks like some kind of alien control panel contraption of some kind. As Saibo was hoping Saibo spent more time in Oni school learning about the technology.
How
And
securely
with your
mounted are these things?
4 advantages, 4 successes, you totally noticed that, like I said, there was 4 sockets. Top 2 have glowing stones in them, about the size of a softball each, which of course makes the back of your head hear the cha-ching sound. Below the left one is a burnt out one, which is still valuable for crafting material, if nothing else. And over to the right side, as you guys are waving your flashlights in unison, you can clearly see where something or someone has jimmied with a sharp prying tool one of the stones out of their sockets. You can clearly see some pretty jagged, fresh jag marks of somebody basically ripping the stone out with a knife or tool of some kind.
Does that look hard to do?
It looks like it would require some work. It just doesn't pop, come out. It would require some work. I mean, you could totally try to replicate it.
Gonna take my time, make sure. It's what we really want to do first. Although, kind of is what I want to do, but let's wait to get other assessments.
Well, I kind of want to mess with that terminal a bit.
So what do you guys do? So much fear and indecision.
You say fear, I say excitement.
Yeah, I'll in case they didn't know, I'll just kind of let them know what we're looking at over here. Do you want to move closer, Cybele, and investigate?
Totally, for those 2
yeah.
threats, when Thorn tells you guys the skinny, he says it a little louder and excited than you expected, and it just echoes in the room as you all like, oh shit, butt pucker moment. You know, you totally are like, that was too loud. Shh. As you totally see 2 really nice pieces of bioluminicon.
Yeah, we're moving a little closer.
Oni lore.
So, what type of role would this be? Mechanics, Oni lore?
This would totally be Oni lore. Or you could just straight up use an athletics to try to chisel it out.
Yeah, no. Oni lore.
If you're like, I am going to attempt to decipher how to pluck this little guy out, go for it.
Okay. Nice!
Oh.
You guys get close, and you totally are beaming your lights on the two pieces as Cybele runs your fingers across them, and you totally, with 5 freaking successes, know exactly how you would twist the receptacle it's into to release it, almost like there's an iris that twists to tightness to hold it in place. But you do realize that by unscrewing this and popping both of them out, something might happen. Like maybe
What
a
about just
warning
one of
or
them?
safety. If you took just one of them out, you might get away without any adverse reactions. And if you spend that advantage on it, you could totally do it without any adverse reaction.
So, Cybele, how do we do this?
Cybele has assessed the situation. It seems like if we are to take both, that will cause hostility to be upon us. But if we take one, we should be able to get out unscathed.
Should?
It is a 99.9999% guarantee.
Well, y'all just get ready to run just in case, but if you think you can get it out safely.
Cybele will do so now. And I will just pop it out and use that one advantage with no adverse effects and go boop.
You grab and twist, and this softball-sized orb of biolumicon rolls into your hand so gently, and you see the housing it was in that was obviously getting fed some power from it sort of slowly dims and turns very, very boring. As you have this softball-sized orange throbbing piece of biolumicon that seems to be giving you a little tingle there, little tingle there. I mean, you have heard the stories of Essos integrating biolumicon to themselves. It's a thing.
Mm.
It's totally a thing. It's like I breed paranoia amongst the group.
Then let's see. So first of all, I don't have to worry about encumbrance because I have a talent to weigh that. Unless if it did weigh something.
What do you mean?
Oh, I have Hoarder improved. The piece of tech does not count against my encumbrance limit.
Oh no, this would be something that's like implanted in your body. It doesn't count as like a cybernetic item.
A daunting. Oh my god! Increase the intellect by 1. Oh.
How does it work for?
Oh, 5 intellect. Oh my god.
And how
does it work for people?
I totally posted the wearing biolumicon as well.
I will be like, so would Cybele know this offhand, this information about it?
You travel with a bunch of Essos, so you've heard the rumors that it could be integrated into your neural network and basically upgrade you.
Cybele knows that if I am to integrate this, I shall become much more. I shall my neural network become much more.
I shall become Death
enhanced.
Destroyer of Worlds.
Yes, I shall become Death Destroyer of Worlds.
And this is an average size piece?
This is an average size piece.
They're that big.
All right. Well, cool. Well, we can figure out what to do with it. It would upgrade you significantly. That sounds promising.
Yes,
And
but
here's the total rumor that you've heard of other SOs. That's totally a rumor. Machines don't get psionics.
Interesting.
Also, there is a rumor that SOs can become psionic due to this, although it seems more than not likely.
Well, why don't we discuss what to do with it, whether to, plug it into you or not when we get out. In the meantime, it would benefit me if I hung on to it for now.
Saber will concur. Although if you do get tired, Saber knows of a way to hold technology without getting more encumbered.
No problem.
Also, we shall leave this last one here, as Saber does not want to get attacked.
Yeah, until we can, unless we can figure out a way to do it without getting drawing any attention. So if you're willing to hand it over, I will rig up a little thing to wear it around my neck or something like that.
So you're going to stop and take time to fashion jewelry?
Well, I mean, can't you sling it around sling a cord around it or something, wrap it up and dangle it, or just I'll just stick it in my pocket. That's fine.
It is the size of a
go as
softball.
intricate as possible.
That's true. So I'll stick it in my pocket for now then.
Okay, so you're shoving it in your pocket as you get a total tingle when you touch it.
Does it have to be touching skin to get the effect?
It just says wearing it anywhere on a character's person, so.
Okay, well, I will have it in my pocket.
As he's reaching into his hand saying, my precious, my precious.
And I will make sure that the pocket is nice and secure.
I mean, again, it is a softball size item. It's a very large lump.
Got pouches and stuff like that.
You have one bulging, glowing
can hold
pocket. As there's a glow coming out of his pocket. So what are the rest of you guys doing while he's figuring out which pocket this lump will fit in? He's totally doing the Indiana Jones thing of gauging the weight and if you could put this into a necklace.
What are the Hornets doing?
They seem to be completely still. You give me a perception before I say much more.
Ha.
Wonderful. Way to go. Whenever you're ready.
Go for it. They do absolutely nothing. But you do notice there's a slight something feels different in the room the second Cybele pulls the chunk of glowing rock off the wall. Not sure if it's the air pressure just dropped in the room or what, but something just changed. Nothing that you noticed, but it's just this slight, imperceptible, your ears popped feeling. So what would you like for those 3 advantage?
I have no idea. I guess I'll give blues around.
I do have a suggestion for those 3 advantages if you'd like.
I'll take it, yeah.
If you're saying that you're looking down this hallway here.
Sure.
You can totally tell with your mechanical background that these rocks were dropped by an explosive. And there seems to
Okay.
be like zero wear or erosion since the explosion happened, which tells you it happened, within the last month or so.
I will disseminate that information to everybody else.
As, of course, the camera caught, but nobody else did. The drones over in this area over here all simultaneously did like one finger twitch when the stone came out of the wall. Just to be all ominous and spooky and shit.
Dun
Of
dun
course.
dun.
So what are you guys doing? Thorn and Cybele have the MacGuffin in their pocket. They know that this one chunk would be a huge windfall for you guys money-wise. Or if you can pry it from one of your psychics or your SO's hands.
I'm checking out the tank.
Now, what do you mean by checking out?
Well, I mean, it's a vehicle. I'm a driver. It's just more of a professional curiosity.
So it's not a vehicle per se. It doesn't have any doors or hatches to get into it. It just has
But it's still a vehicle.
Do you touch it?
Yeah, I'll touch it.
Okay. So are
Did you
you
ask his permission?
gentle when you touch it?
Yeah, I'm not banging on it. I'm just running my hands along it like you would a hot rod's paint job.
Okay. So as you touch it, go ahead and give me either a stealth or coercion for how gentle you're touching it.
Coercion for how
Or coordination. Coercion would be asking for permission.
It's like I have so many questions.
Coercion would be demanding.
Droid, do you consent? Do you consent?
It's like I attack
That is
Throg the
consent.
Destroyer.
Okay, so you touch it, and this thing feels like a very dense, armor-plated thing that could be used for more than just transportation. You have a feeling this thing could be used for war. I mean, it's got, from what you're seeing on this tank, military-grade weaponry on it. You totally see as you're checking it out, just to list a few things, that it has. It's got the ability to deploy minions. It literally can shoot them out like B1 battle droids are deployed. It has a ram prow at the front that you would not want to be in front of or have chasing your vehicle because it has pierce from the sharp edges on it. Could totally ram a car and fuck it up no problem. It has a shift cannon, which means it shoots a weapon out that the projectile is shifting between phases of matter. So it's ridiculously deadly. We're
The
talking
question is, can you drive it?
And it has ridiculously heavy armor plating on it. We're talking it's got at least +2 defenses just from the extra armor on top of it. This thing you think has soak for days and could easily eat your truck and not be hurt at all by the harpoon.
God damn.
And you're not finding any way to enter the vehicle, so you're assuming it's probably an automaton.
Imagine stripping this thing down.
I don't even want to know why a tank has leadership skill, brawl skill, and mechanics.
Yeah.
But you clearly,
maybe it transforms.
When you subtly touch it and things, you hear this watery sound coming back from Thorn's microphone. He's drooling because of the Omicron. And you basically realize this thing can load drones in and then shoot and deploy them out in a hurry. But there doesn't seem any way to. But there is quite a few handholds where folks could hold on to the handholds while it's driving.
This looks like a war machine.
You have no doubt that this kind of ruster is meant to cross great distances and is a massive, large, all-terrain vehicle with multiple ranged weapons on it.
Imagine getting that armor on the fucking truck.
Oh, you realize
getting
you
anything
could
on that truck.
you could strip this thing down and become a wealthy man and retire just from what you would get off this. Because remember, this is where Oni Tech comes from. However, if this thing is just in stasis and not powered down, you would then have the problem of as soon as you start taking things apart, it's going to wake up cranky.
Yep.
Yep.
All the while, some of your teammates keep looking at the very scary looking bladed drones that are down there.
These things are so cool.
As your driver wants to say, can we take this and put a cockpit in it? I could drive this from city to city, no problem.
Oh, those are the mantises. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Those.
Yeah, those look pretty.
That does not look like it would be fun to fight.
So when you checked this out over here, is it like something we could climb up and out, or
There
is it?
is air coming this direction, so obviously there's something. Somebody could go in the very dark room in the Rebel and check to see if there's a crawl-throughable passage size, opening. I mean, it is a big old 20-foot ceiling, 60-foot wide corridor that the roof is just demolition collapsed. But lots of sand and wind is blowing in. Nobody's gone in there. I mean,
Well, I wouldn't mind going to check it out if we're done here for the moment. Maybe we can snag the other one on our way out and just book it.
Cybele would think that would be an unwise decision.
Probably. Still might do it though. Anyway.
So what?
And this is the firewall. Yep.
As
so
Cybele says, good luck to you, Firewall, sir.
I just wanted to come down here and take a closer look in here.
Okay. So as you come down and look, give me a survival or mechanics check.
I'll do survival. Just to see if it can,
either of those.
Yeah, is this to see if it's like safe to walk on? Because that was going to be my next question.
Depends on what you roll.
Oh, well, that's what I'm looking for anyway. First.
Okay.
So survival, you said?
Yep. Survival or mechanics.
Ah, man.
Looks totally safe to go in there and get a closer look. I mean,
of course it does.
You are almost what? 80 feet, 100 feet from the bricks. You can't really see much in the dark area with the wind blowing the dust up. There's a little haze in here. You totally want to go closer and see it. It seems completely legit safe.
Yeah, okay.
As poor Sarah's over there with her 3 advantages, still waiting to tell me what she's going to use them for, as her 3 drone buddies are watching everything she's doing to this tank.
I mean, I'm just gonna recover strain at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not intending to hurt the tank this time.
And oh yeah, that's 2 more threat. Good to know. Good to know.
Are you just banking the threat?
I am totally banking the threat. So, you guys, Thorn is saying let's check out the cave-in. Cybele's still sitting over there debating on taking the second node or not.
Oh, we still got other rooms to check out too.
I just haven't moved yet.
Sarah's like, oh baby, my baby. Can I take you out for a date?
Thing's 20 by 40 feet.
It would just be good to know if this is a possible second means of egress.
I mean, there is air flowing this way, so that's totally an option, but you need to get a little bit closer, apparently, with your no successes.
Yeah. We are racking up metal this session.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, you guys are.
Some people are actually succeeding in life.
Yeah, like me, with my patented foolproof theology. Never to get out of the truck.
And you got out of the truck.
I got out of the truck, but I immediately made my way to this autonomous truck.
And then touched it very gently in all the right places. At no point did Sarah touch the big button that says "Do not touch" an alien script that really does look like "Touch me." I don't know what this says in alien script, but it so looks like it says "Touch me" button. So what are you guys doing?
Anybody else want to come with me to check this out?
Cybele will follow.
All right, so
Okay, so Thorn and Cybele are heading off again into the dusty, debris-filled plateau that's slowly rising at like a 20-degree pitch. So if this
That's
was
not slow.
that's a very steep
That's a hell
slope.
of a pitch.
That's a two. That's a 2-to-1. That's almost a 2-to-1 increase.
As you totally are going up there, so is Cybele gonna do the check?
What check is it?
It's gonna be survival or mechanics.
Yeah,
Mechanics.
Yeah, see
On
if
the
it's
plus
structurally sound.
So how far into the room are you going in this perfectly safe, structurally sound room?
Well, I will step in and then wait for Cybele to, I'll step just through and wait for Cybele to catch up.
As Thorn, totally is doing the whole SOs first. So, Cybele, how far are you going in there before you're making your skill check? The closer you get to the rocks, the easier it is. See how I'm helpful?
Yeah, right there. That's good.
So right there, you're not getting any closer. You're getting like 60 feet away.
Yeah.
Okay, so no relatively increase in ease. Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
I'll assist since we're here together.
So you're giving from a nice distance behind a blue die?
No, I'll stay next to her.
Okay. So blue die, or do I need to give an upgrade?
I don't have anything worth
Okay.
mentioning.
So blue die. Go ahead and make your roll. Success. So I can totally tell you that it does seem structurally sound at this point because the roof has kind of caved in and the dirt has piled out. And you're totally surprised you didn't see like a sump hole when you guys drove up, but it was quite a distance away and the dune over from where you guys were. But more importantly, what would you like for those 3 advantages before I say more?
Those 3 advantages. So you said that it was structurally sound at the moment. Can we make it from at the moment to it's just structurally sound?
Okay, so I will actually give you a few things for those 3 advantages along that line. So you do know this was caused by explosives very recently. Somebody actually put demolition charges that caused this cave-in to happen. And you can surmise that there is something buried under this. Possibly another tank. But more importantly, with those 3 advantages, it is structurally safe, and you have a feeling that you know how to basically dig out from here to get to the surface. There's a few openings where there's breeze coming through. That's probably just like a very small hole that sand is pouring in that you can clearly see here is earth and here is sand. that you could, if you wanted to spend a little effort, less effort if you roll well, to athletics or mechanics a opening to the surface from in here that you could crawl out of, basically. I mean, if you
Okay.
had a couple advantages, you could have more than man size, but you have a feeling man size hole would be really handy to have. You know, just man size and not ruster size.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, your little probe friends could totally follow you. In fact, it makes you wonder where your 3 probe friends that went down this hallway disappeared to. As you notice, there's a small opening that literally is big enough that a probe could push its way through. As in, like, maybe your probes discovered this opening and went to explore it outside.
Huh.
How
Okay.
long do you think it would take to dig it out?
You could probably do it with a lot if you guys have equipment to do it in like 10 minutes. If you guys, makeshift using swords and bow staffs to do it, since you don't have any digging equipment with you, could probably do it in less than an hour. Safely.
Cybele is carrying a scrap saw. As such, Cybele does not have proper equipment to do so.
As Cybele's like, no, we're not using my scrap saw in the dirt.
Man, I just got this thing too, okay?
You kids are gonna ruin my tools. Don't play with my tools in the dirt.
I'll kind of I'll just relay everything back to the other so if we're all on the same page about everything.
Yeah, but I'll be like, so, Cybele has 2 current options. We can either dig up to see if there is, to find out what is underneath the rubble, or we can continue using it as a platform and make a exit.
Can you do both?
I mean, it'll only cost time, right?
I don't know.
Well, the structure might become a little less stable, but if we took our time and properly did it, Cybele thinks that it should be possible.
Does anybody have any tools that could help with this? I think that's a no.
Cybele does not possess one.
I mean, in a pinch, you have a bow staff and swords and some gloves and.
Yeah, but the question is, do we want to spend an entire hour doing that?
I mean, for now, we could just, since we've explored this whole area, we could, go now and try to go through the other door.
Yeah, let's put a pin in it and check out the other way. I agree.
Yeah, we got time.
Yep.
Yeah. And besides, I can give a try unlocking that door. And if necessary, I do have a blast pick, although I think that would be a very bad idea.
Although Sniggly knows how to open the door.
That is also true.
Yeah.
He now possesses the knowledge.
And
If only
Sniggly's
this
like,
was the Twilight
"I
Imperium.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yes.
Okay, so
All right,
what is
so
the plan?
shall we head to the other door?
Yep. I'm good with that.
Okay, so you guys are heading back to the other door. As we get the screen swipe for that, let's take a quick break for restroom and beverage runs because I need one of both.
Alrighty.
So take a quick
I'm gonna-
5-minute break.
I'm gonna go figure out if these are gunshots or fireworks.
Ooh.
My favorite game.
Yay!
Yeah, that's your favorite game living in Gunbelt, Maryland.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This is my favorite game from living in Tucson.
Yeah. Depends on where.
Yep. All right, be right back.
It rained at some point today.
It hasn't rained here in a couple days, actually.
It seems to be raining here pretty much every day.
Yeah, this time of year, yeah, a little bit. Pretty much most of the East Coast gets sprinkles.
I mean, it hasn't even been sprinkles. It's been feeling like monsoon weather.
Oh, yeah, that I don't know.
Yeah, just storm rolls in the middle of the afternoon, fucking douses everything, and then it's gone.
Just call it global warming. Why not? It's global warming. So, have you tried the latest expansion for Celestia yet? Hello.
How about now? Kevin?
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, for some reason, and I kept sending the signal on my thing to unmute me, and it just wasn't doing it. That was weird. But yeah, I played it. I haven't beaten it, but I played a little bit. I enjoyed the fact that they decided to expand on the original storyline and continue it out.
No, that was pretty cool. And they fixed a few of the minor issues, and
oh yeah, they did a decent number of bug fixes for the last thing they're releasing on it.
And then they updated the armor icons. Not really the armor, but the icons. I don't know if you noticed that.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, they made the icons like in your inventory look fancier, but they didn't change the armor that much itself, except for like the new stuff, like anything new or whatever. What was the one bug that they fixed that was really pissing me off? I don't know. I think something like area effect spells. Something with that. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, the mind warp or whatever, that one. It used to not affect your allies, and now it does.
Yep.
So I mean, because that used to be an awesome fucking spell, and then it's like, yeah, not so much anymore. When you like paralyze half your party, it's like, oh shit. The first time I did that, I'm like, I'm not using that spell again.
Yep. From now on, it's just an alpha strike.
It's like, yeah, I'm not doing that one again. It's like my warlock just wiped out half my party. But yeah, no, I mean it was interesting.
Yep. I need to get Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's not like the first two.
Yeah, but the fact that it's also got online co-op is just so nice.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that would work, but well, actually, it's not turn-based, so it'll be pretty easy, actually.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah. There's somebody who's probably excited about the expansion for Cyberpunk 2077.
Hi, how are you? What's up?
Yep. That's what we thought.
When does that come out, anyways?
I'm
Never.
back.
Wonder what happened to David.
Oh, it comes out September 26th.
Yeah.
In which once it comes out and I play through it, I'm going to have to rewrite my campaign because that changes stuff. But oh well.
Wait, why?
Because I have a Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk Red, I homebrewed it into 2077.
Oh.
And this will change stuff. Like, it might not change the overall story, but it changes a lot of lore elements and things like that.
Maybe. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, you know.
It's funny because I was talking with somebody's like, well, how's the ending? I'm like, well, there's like 12 of them.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's like 12 different endings, depending on, which background you take, which, it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, if you kill this person or that person at the end, yeah. So far I have gone into space, and what was the other one that that I did? Yeah, going back into space is one of the endings. There's a bunch of them.
The first ending I ever did was the easy way out. I shot myself. That's the first one I did, going like, oh, hey, that's an option. I want to see what happens. Bang, game ends. And I'm like, oh, and I was giving editorials about my death and everything, and I'm like, oh, wow.
Well, it's kind of like there's 3, like for Mass Effect 3, there's 3 obvious endings, and then there's a 4th one that you basically have to be an idiot to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you shoot the kid, if you shoot the hologram of the kid, he gets pissed off and basically annihilates the universe.
Nice.
Yes. Instead of, you could destroy them, you could synergize with them, and then you can, whatever the third option, I can never remember. But yeah, if you shoot him, or destroy, control, or synergize,
down. Just put the kid down, and then you lose the world.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, what happens if I shoot him? I'm like, oops.
Whoopsie. Oopsie doodles.
Yeah. But then you still get the the story about the shepherd. It's like, oh, come on. It's like, I just caused everybody's death.
But wait, we want to make sure a sequel can still happen.
Which is, I'm still trying to figure out how they plan on doing that, but I mean,
where there's a will, there's a way.
Or if they're ever going to get back into the Andromeda one.
Oh yeah.
They're not. That was a train wreck. They just are.
Oh, that was it. They just released it. Yeah, the release was. I mean, the game. I bought it when it first came out, but I never got around to playing it until like 6 months later, when all the major crap had been fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's kind of like when I bought Cyberpunk 2077. It was like after all the major bugs had been fixed with the Xbox.
Yeah,
so
never buy release day, because nowadays the game isn't done on a release day. The game is done
you can
on
for like
second
Call of
patch.
Duty and stuff like Call of Duty and stuff like that. You can, but yeah, any like open end type game, yeah.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that games aren't done on release. Well, I do agree on the fact of like many companies have done that as of late. I think it's more the fact of like, because of how large games are these days, that it's impossible to have all the bugs fixed. And that's why
there's a chance the beta testers didn't run into them. Yeah.
There's not beta testers anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
It's really just early access people.
Your pre-release people are your beta testers now. We will reward you with being a beta tester for free.
Yeah.
They don't do it for free anymore. Basically, at this point, what they're doing is early access. They sell you the game for early access, and you become the bug tester. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congrats. You got played.
Yeah, dude, exactly. And my friend was arguing about that, saying that's not wrong. Like, he was saying that for Baldur's Gate 3, because it's like, well, they used it correctly and they were able to fix bugs and like rewrite a character and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so basically what you're saying is
You
they
paid the beta
used
test.
you. And he's like, no, they didn't use us because we got what we wanted in the end. I'm like, no, but they still used you. They still gained from it.
Yeah.
They got their beta
And he
tester
doesn't
out of
understand that. And I'm like, bro, in this situation, they're only benefiting.
It's not a collaborative relationship when you're paying for it.
No.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it's not like it's any cheaper for early access either. If it was
Yeah.
cheaper,
No, that's the thing I also hate. Like, I think if games do early access and expect people to be like beta testers and like test bugs and stuff, it should be cheaper.
or like you should get something major, like all the like the free deluxe or whatever when it comes out or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Especially
for
since they know
example,
you're
one.
not going to get to enjoy the game, and it could be flipped at any time and you erase all your progress.
Yeah, like basically, one game that I bought that's in early access is Starship Troopers Extermination, which basically is you play up to 16 men and you do missions and you kill bugs and then you try to get out of there, right? Fucking
Yeah.
Starship Troopers, nothing much to it. There's only like 2 maps with well, now there's actually 3 maps with 2 different modes. One is a base defense and the other one is doing missions and then setting up an arc, getting seismic data, and then defending before escaping.
I'm sorry, did you say fucking Starship Troopers? Nothing much to it.
No, I'm talking about.
Do you know anything about the source material?
No, I do. It's way different than what the modern day one is, at least.
Hey. We're being cloned.
That's kind of weird.
Just keep having
Like-
your conversation. It's cool.
No, but like I'm saying simplistic as in like the gameplay. You know, it's more just you up in a squad, you kill bugs, you do the mission, then you get out. You know,
your
it's that
typical
simple thing.
Space Marine fare.
Yeah. So the whole thing is when they first released it, they
guys,
in
I
the
don't
early
wanna open
access
this
it was
door anymore.
discounted at like $19. Okay, well $20
Yeah.
technically. You know, $19.99. Well, the thing is now that they released their second major update, they're upping the price a bit, which I'm fine with because it's still not a $60 game. It's only a $30 game now.
Which is not bad.
And- No, it's honestly not bad. And I mean, it's still early access, but it's fun. It has 3 different classes that you can play. Although, not gonna lie, sometimes I feel like I get chipped on support.
Hey, James,
Yeah.
what you doing?
Nothing. What you doing?
Looking at the screen.
Nothing to look on the screen about.
I think we want to call it a day and wait for
Wait for our 2 intrepid friends who are both
Yeah.
armed.
Well, we can always make
are
a
we-
run for
are
it.
we
Grab the
back?
other orb and make a run for it. Yeah, we're back.
Okay. So
Yeah,
does,
we're all back.
does Sniggly want to open the archway as you guys get to the archway?
That was the intent.
Does Cybele want to do any Oni lore on the archway to read this one or anything? I mean, sadly,
Yeah, I can do Oni lore. I'm good with
Cybele
that.
was like, dropped that earlier, and I was just wondering if you wanted to try it one more time before entering the next door.
Yeah, I'll try.
Do you
And
want
you
to
got
do
a
it
blue that you never
before
used last time.
or after Sniggly opens the door?
I'll do it before.
Okay, go ahead and give me your Oni lore.
Also, I get 1 blue.
And I gave you a blue.
Okay, cool.
You
All
might
right,
need that
we
later.
ready now?
Yep.
he gives you the blue.
What is the odds? This is a good roll. Look at the end result.
No, that was good off, not a bad off.
So before I tell you your success is you're totally doing the 5th element thing of 5th element supreme beings with your fingers. You're reading the archway. Is there anything you would like the 3 advantage for before I tell you what the success will get you?
Honestly, I can't think of anything. Anybody have a suggestion?
Take the success first and then use the advantage.
Wow.
That's usually how it works.
I can't think of it. I can't think of anything to use by now. So yeah, I think I'll use it after the success.
Okay, so
know what you're working with.
So for the success, you totally see the description and the iconography that there's, basically this is a holy chamber you're going to that goes to the master of the observatory is the, for lack of a better word in translation, is that this is the conservatory that will take you to the basically the holy person as your people have described what the icon comes out as, that that it's basically the for lack of a better word, the conservatory is you guys call them temples, but this would be the center of the place. The most holy of holies in your very bad translation to a language that humans have never heard spoken. And you're seeing that there's the iconography of a super important Oni in a robe, and that what you're about to enter is a place where only the holiest of holies should enter.
Should enter.
Which probably translates to alien speech of only upper management's allowed in this room and nobody else. Stay away, you peasants.
I shall be like, one moment, please, before you open the door. Cybele has figured out that this is a holy place meant for a higher being to the Onai.
Sounds fascinating.
Cybele has also figured out that they do not take kindly to those that are not considered or deemed holy.
Is there any? Does that mean that there's some sort of trap or penalty or something that's gonna fry us if we try to go in, or is it just a verbal warning?
Spoken like a
Cybele,
firewall. Is it a verbal warning?
Is it a verbal warning? You being a naughty, naughty boy. No. Cybele thinks from Cybele's past experience that they will probably be guards or something of that sort. Either that or they will be turrets or traps that will kill us.
Well, 3 advantage might tell us what.
Cybele concurs with this. Can Cybele figure out what is in there?
For 3 advantages, you get the breakdown that from this point on, it is the realm of only the holiest of conservators, and that this is a font of life, and all others will be struck down, and you totally see this iconography of an Oni with a blue stone about the size of a marble to the icon, which would probably be a average size piece to you guys, striking down others of his species with the beams of this light.
Wow.
I'm really not liking the idea of opening this door now.
Cybele suggests that we should not go inside.
Not without at least a lot of preparation.
Or a tank.
Yeah, or a tank.
Oh, but it sounds so interesting. I don't disagree, mind you.
As much as Cybele would like to enter, Cybele also does not want to die.
Do any of the hieroglyphics offer any other suggestions about how to circumvent it?
No, they pretty much say, peasant, go away. This is only for the leader cast. It's pretty distinct of that breakdown that it says if you're not supposed to be here, you shouldn't be here. You totally get the idea of if basically you're entering the leadership's, of the species' private abode that's not meant for public access.
What are our three little followers doing right now?
They're totally following behind you guys.
Oh, they came back from behind the.
No, three of them never left.
Oh, that was just those three.
Yeah,
okay.
remember, it's your three
That's
that have
right.
continued following.
That's right.
Cybel's three friends took off and found the way out of the temple through the hole that shouldn't exist. The other three are like, okay, we're going to follow these guys. We hate door-to-door salesmen.
So I'll turn to one of the probes. And what do you guys think?
As the probe just lingers in the air as you turn around, and from its point of view, you totally see it watching you, and your head gets really close to all Flash Gordon and credit scene, and it just hears walk 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 walk, and alien script going underneath trying to translate what you're saying and getting an error. I'll just put that in the unknown section.
Okay.
So you're not having him open the door?
Cyber believes that would be a bad idea. Whoa.
Whoa? Good whoa? Bad whoa? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
What is the whoa?
Oh, I just looked at the screen for a second.
I was going to say, I get concerned when Cybele, breaks for third person and goes whoa. I was going to say, I forgot which sitcom was it that had the brother that goes whoa.
Blossom.
Joey, wasn't it?
Yeah. Joey Lawrence.
So, just throwing this out there. So the drones, they are now completely ignoring Cybele.
No. Cybele's three drones are ignoring Cybele.
Oh, okay, so it was just those three.
It was just Cybele's friends.
Okay. Well, I thought they were all kind of like the same.
I was rolling for a reason. Why are you rolling?
I don't know. I wanted to see what the fuck these things on the dice roller do. There's penetrating dice and
I was hoping
compounding
for some
dice.
threats.
You're hoping for some threats?
Roll some threats. I just need 2 more threats. Then we can have a running fight to escape this place.
There you go.
What are these
Jesus.
other dice you're rolling for?
Oh my god.
All right. Well,
and you had to throw the blue in there. The blue is still in there, so
Oh.
all that still only 1 to spare.
I know. I like how there's only 1 to spare in all of that.
Apparently, Roll20 now has exploding dice for Savage World games and Shadowrun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh, I just noticed that in the dice settings. If you hit advanced dice, you can set your dice to explode, separate the dice, or compounded Shadowrun style dice. And you can set the target number. Interesting.
That's cool.
So, quick question actually. What was our agreement with the old man again?
He gets a percentage.
He gets 30%.
30%. Okay, got it.
I mean, when you see him, he gets 40%. He may have forgotten what the percentage was by the time you get back. It may have multiplied depending on how many days it takes you to come back.
So I'm getting the idea you guys don't want to go in here.
Cybo suggests that we do not.
Well, I'm thinking it's like, okay, my character's probably like, well, there's nothing alive inside there, so how bad can it be?
Cybele immediately starts moving away.
Okay, so Cybele's like, I don't think we should go in there.
So basically, that's if we don't go in there, that's it, unless we want to do anything else in this other room.
Yeah, that would pretty much be it, other than grabbing the other orange stone.
and making a break for it.
Or starting a fight with all those drones, all those things in there.
That's probably the same thing as grabbing a stone.
It probably is.
What if we... Hmm. Oh, I'm just wondering if there's like, if we can somehow like rig a grappling hook or something to like grab the thing and pull it to us from a distance.
Set up a 300-foot grappling line with pulleys around 2 doorways so that way you can be back in the main chamber here. Flick the button and hope it pulls it loose and zips
maybe
it all
not
the
a
way.
300-foot grappling
one if we
hook,
go
but
through here.
maybe
Only one pulley if we go through here.
Yeah, now I was just thinking maybe just enough to give us a head start.
Remember how fast your wrench pulls
I
people
open the
up
door.
the hole. You open
Why
the
not?
door.
I open the door.
Okay, now that you have mastered the technique to the door, you go push, push, grinding sound, twist, and immediately the door slides open. And
That
all
wasn't
of a
impulsive at all.
sudden, as you do that, a humid waft of air hits you. We're talking
What is
like
this sensation?
sauna hot humid hits you. And immediately you're seeing there's a mild yellow glow in here, and you see green plants growing. These are all bushes of live green plants. There is a strange alien mechanical device, looks like a wind turbine on top of a water fountain, that seems to just be like coalescing a thin layer of water down it. It's totally a moisture farmer's wet dream as it's dripping water.
Do we?
Wow.
Do you what?
That.
No, I was just wondering. Do we see these guys, or are they just behind
and you clearly
plants?
see the 4 rusters standing in basically like military parade fashion. They're each in a different pose. It's very imposing, but they are definitely in some like protective guardian pose. And they even have looks like what's left of some kind of robe over them, like some kind of ceremonial dress that's decayed over the time. But it is definitely a quartet of mantises, and they're in different action poses, and they have like royal vestment garbs thrown over them that have totally degraded to almost nothing but like a wisp of fabric. Almost makes
What's the over under on them having kung fu grip?
Pretty
Everybody
high.
was kung fu fighting.
And since Sniggly is the only one in the doorway, as the doorway enters and this warm water, this warm moisture water hits you, go ahead and give me a dice roll. And I apparently have to go grab DoorDash real quick. But while I do that, roll me a dice as you are exposed to the conservatory's inner chamber. And because of that, roll me a d10. And that is instantly how many strain you regenerate just by being exposed to the healing energies of this.
I didn't have any.
If only we were restrained.
Yeah.
If only you had strain. And as he is looking in this room gawking, what do the rest of you guys do? As I'm totally using that as a stall tactic to run outside and get food that got delivered.
It's also 6:00, so.
Yeah.
Well, I am staying back. That's what I'm doing.
What's?
I just put Baldur's Gate 3 on my wish list so that I can get it whenever the price goes down.
Which will be in like a year.
No, it's going to be when it comes out of early access.
It's still early access.
It will be until November.
Yep. And then it'll come out, and then they'll probably do like a 10% discount on like the first day.
Yeah.
Which is like $5, $6. So hey.
Hasn't it been out for years now?
No.
You're thinking Diablo 3.
Well, Diablo 4 just recently came out.
Yeah. I don't know about Diablo 4.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 only came out on early access
May or March or something. Yeah.
No, the release date was 3 days ago. August 3rd is when it became available. When it first went into early access and they first started accepting people to start playing around with it was back in 2020. But
I guess that's what I was thinking. I didn't realize it was just early access.
When did I last play it? Well, let's see. Last time I played it was the 26th of last month.
Yeah.
But I want to say I was playing it in May.
I feel like it would ruin it to like only have half the experience and then to go back again.
That's why I stopped playing, because
I think I agree.
It's like it says something about the video didn't exist yet. I'm like, okay, if I'm supposed to be doing a cutscene, there's no fucking way I'm going to continue without cutscenes.
That's another reason why I don't like early access games, because you can't do the game, right?
Or you walk around a corner and then it goes, to be continued.
Yeah, it's
just enough to get just enough to kind of spoil it, I guess, but not enough to really finish it.
So
anyway, that's my opinion.
Sniggly, you're standing in the archway. Everyone else is retreating back.
I'm kind of right next to him. Not, I'm intrigued.
You're retreating, but right next to him. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, I stepped back to let him open the thing, but no, I didn't fall back any further than that.
Okay, and you feel this sensation of life-giving energy coming off the monolith garden in here.
Man, we could sell tickets.
What do you guys do?
I'll step inside.
Give me a perception, or no, give me a vigilance check, not a perception check. Oh, look at you rolling before I can take things out. Ignore that blue die. So, well, actually, no, we'll leave the blue die because there is that beautiful yellow glow everywhere. The room is lit up. It's nice.
Yellow or orange?
Yellow.
Okay.
Like a soft spring day yellow.
How wild would it be if the place was lit by biolumicron, though?
Oh, God. As
you step in, you see the door here totally has a giant Oni symbol on it, a giant Oni priest of some kind with like blue glowing eyes, very impressive, ominous looking door. And as soon as you step in, you totally notice.
I'm not stepping that far.
Okay. As soon as you step in with that one success, you totally notice these mantises all start to, the heads all do a weird twitch, and all of a sudden they start lighting up and activating.
Okay, I will step back outside and wait to see what they do.
They are continuing to activate.
I will press the button to close the door.
As the door slowly is grinding to a close, you see that basically they each step off of their pedestal and are looking around confused as the door closes.
I assume that's our cue.
Yeah.
Way ahead of you guys.
As
Get back here, coward.
I take it you all are connecting up to the, or at least Sarah's connecting up and pulling herself up.
Yup.
And you do realize since you opened that door, the static on your comms is now a lot worse. Almost like there's another
also
energy
really bad
source
thing.
kind of pumping out, overriding your comm signals, at least in the short-term distance. So you guys are basically DD-mowing out of there?
Yup.
Okay.
Sidebell thinks we should close the door.
The door
I
is
did.
closed.
The
They
door
did
is
already.
closed.
Oh.
Does Cybel want to close this door since you now know how to?
Sidebell does not want to do so.
Okay.
Well,
Just checking.
I'm gonna start heading this way and keeping an eye on the door. I don't know if they know how to open the door.
The door does not seem to have any action happening.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You're totally
I'm
thinking
gonna.
from that vigilance check that the 4 mantis thrusters activated because someone who's not supposed to be in the room entered the room.
I'm basically gonna be right behind Sniggly, covering our retreat.
Okay, so you guys have a very hasty retreat back to where the cable is in the main area. Your 3 little probe buddies are now meeting you with their other 3 friends descending from the opening. They apparently found their way out from hole number A back to hole number B.
That's
So all
fun.
6 of them are basically circling you as you hit the controls on the winch and start pulling yourselves out of the hole. Now, one person for the whole group, since you're basically connected to a cable being pulled out of a fucking hole, give me a athletics or coordination roll for getting out of the hole.
That'll be me.
Ooh, quick use on that upgrade. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ready?
go when ready.
Dang.
Okay.
Nice.
Thankfully, with you at the hand of the controls, you guys have no problem getting out of the hole. You don't further damage it. No problems like that. As you guys unhook yourselves from the cable, get into your vehicle, is there anything special you do to mark this location before, the winds in the desert conceal it again for who knows how many eras?
Are there any
Can I
prominent,
do an
like...
extra navigation check to put it on the map?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, great. Flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah.
So is that no?
Yeah, do
I
it.
think,
I'm just praying to the flying spaghetti monster because I know how your navigation rolls go.
after we level up a few more times, then we'll come back.
Or when we have all 6 of us.
Okay, so go ahead and give me your notes as you're notating and dropping a dot on your holo map to see how close you are to that location.
How long does would the power cell on that tracking device that the guy gave us last?
Probably not more than a month.
Okay.
I think I can safely say I know where the location is.
Okay.
Now,
so
can you find it again is a different story.
See, that'll
Like
be
you'd
the
do any
interesting
better.
thing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So the map will be super accurate.
Question is,
getting there.
Are we
is the
going to
hard
know
part.
where we are on the map at any given time?
Yeah, that's why I say finding it.
Let me double check. Yeah, let me drop the pin where you need it. So you know that for future scores, it's actually, whoa, not that big.
Whoa! No.
It's a massive complex.
Yeah,
It
that
is
would be
right
like,
there.
That would be like the size of Illinois.
So here's the ruins and we will label that.
Label.
Okay. Now here's the thing: we have to go back down and get some more salvage.
Do we? We got that biolumicron.
We did. If
That's
you
worth
guys
more
just
than
wanna-
most salvage.
True.
Look at
Very,
how the
very
math
true.
is filling
Yeah.
up. This is great.
Here is what I will say. If I do install it in me, my intellect will become 5, and that will give me an extra green towards planetary geography.
I think I'd rather have the money right now. Honestly, I think we need to like make some headway on paying off our debt.
Yeah.
Agree. As
And
much
by
as
some
I,
headway, I mean literally any headway at all. In
as
fact,
much
since
as
the
I
start of this
hate to
campaign, we've
part with
only
it.
regressed in terms of that.
Because
We're
yeah,
now in more debt than we started in.
Because if we shove this thing inside your head, then we have absolutely nothing to show for this.
Yeah.
Well,
As
Alrighty.
much as I hate to part
nothing
with it, I agree.
substantial. Nothing substantial.
And later on, we can come back here and we can get that other piece.
And kill all the...
Unless you want to dig out that other entrance and
Right
Yeah.
now, no.
go in that way. And no, okay. Because we'd always rig up the winch.
Yeah, and
I don't
then
know.
give an open path for the tank to come out. Nah, I'm good.
You can make it.
I'll pass.
All right. Probably the wise decision.
Okay, so as you guys get in the truck and you're like, okay, well, we're gonna take off for now and discuss this en route. Are you
Yeah.
heading back to Petra, or are you heading out to the old timer who gave you the tracking location?
Well, we will need to sell it first before we can give him a cut, right? So wouldn't Petra be better?
Well,
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Did he give us does he have a comm or something like that? We could call him
Yeah, he's got a
and
radio.
let him know. Okay, well, we'll just radio him and say, we're heading to Petra and we will, cash in and bring you your cut.
I'm gonna
See if you
be
fall.
rich.
We haven't even told them what it is yet.
How much salvage did you pull out of the ruins? You must have truckloads of salvage.
Hardly.
Well, we'll be able to determine the worth of what we have shortly.
There's
Um,
governmental double talk if I ever heard of it.
Would I know the worth of it offhand, or would I have to make a check for it?
You would have to make a check for it.
What type?
It's gonna be Oni lore.
Could I try doing that?
You're like, so what would 1 intelligence cost me to get? Go ahead and roll when you're ready. Since I already had an upgrade in there, I might as well use it now.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh,
I got
it's
nothing.
Oni tech. It must be worth millions. Or it's worth nothing. We should totally plug it into my neural network. It's more valuable long-term return that way.
I'm sure there's an SO who would pay for it.
Oh, that would be no problem finding an SO or a psychic. By the way, on your way back, do you plan on stopping off at the Storm Shepherd's church?
No.
No? You're totally not going to wave a piece of magic rock in front of a religious zealot?
Hard
No.
pass.
Okay, good to know.
In fact, go extra out of the way. Not really, just get us home, but. Psychos.
So says our psycho.
Psychic,
our
not
psycho.
psycho.
What's the difference?
It's 1 letter
2
off.
letters.
Yeah, 2 letters.
As our
Yeah,
psychic is enjoying having the biolumicron in his pocket, feeling his psychic soak just get a little stronger. Psychics with magic rocks.
It was nice while it lasted.
Okay, so you guys are driving off. I'm not even going to require a navigation check from Cybele yet. And as you drive off, that's a good place to wrap it up there.
Bum, bum, bum.
You guys really
Yeah.
just have to head east, just follow your car's shadow, and you should make it there okay. Oh, wait, there's two suns.
There's two shadows.
Oh no.
So
And that's a
speaking
good
of
place
that,
to wrap it up.
Anshin, have you watched Eminence and Shadow?
Yes.
God, it's
I
such
just think it's
terrible anime.
I don't know
just
what you're
think
talking
it's
about.
funny.
That's great.
This
okay?
guy,
It's great.
it's just funny
amazing.
because this guy just makes up this story and everything about it
And
just
it's
turns
true.
true.
Yeah, that's why it's so good. It's because he's pulling shit out of his pants and it works. And the best part that I like about it so much is the fact of like everybody takes it so seriously because this is their life, this is the world, this is how it is, and he takes everything so unseriously in that.
He's like, I just want to be a background character.
No, his background character is his side
Yeah.
person. Because his main character is always the shadow, so everything else to him is just a side character.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am atomic.
Awful anime.
It's great. It's fantastic.
It's goofy, that's all.
I like it.
Speaking of other awful anime, fucking Jobless Reincarnation is currently running its second season.
I like it. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the new ones yet.
I like Jobless Reincarnation. Pretty good. Not my favorite isekai, but definitely up there.
I think it's funny that he's just being repeatedly traumatized into being a half decent person.
Bro,
goddamn.
I mean, hey, that's life sometimes,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's kind of like living.
Life imitating art.
You know anything about the main character's initial life? He's
he's a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, it's
Okay, well, to be fair, he was scarred a little.
Yeah, but like he was, aside from that, and even before that, still a piece of shit.
Like he blew off his parents' funeral, and when they went to check on him, he's sitting there watching porn. Come on.
Yeah. Like he wasn't the best person, but then again, the actions of life around him didn't help that either.
No, but still, that's an extreme way to react to that. But no, I just thought like Eminence and Shadow is just like, he just makes up this story, and gives names based off of things he's seeing around the room, and it's all true.
Yeah.
It's just all true.
How did you know the Demon Lord was a thing? How did you know about our cult? We are the Shadow. It's so great. Love it.
There's absolutely,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But if you want to talk about absolute trash, okay, there's this current anime that's going on. So the whole premise is there's this dude who's manly. It's a shonen type one. So there's this dude who's manly in love with a girl. They're both in high school, and he keeps asking her out. But then one day he's like, you know what? I'm being a creep, so I'm gonna stop asking her out. And like talking to her and shit like that. And then suddenly she becomes very interested in him.
Ain't that life?
Okay.
It's pretty bad, and the translations, everything, are terrible. It's not as bad as the manga. The manga, those translations were so bad, but it is pretty garbage. But I can't stop watching it. So.
Okay. What's the name of it?
Oh yes. So the English name of it is The Dreaming Boy is a Realist.
Nope. Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's currently airing. That's probably why.
Well, I mean, I've got Crunchyroll and High Dive, and it's not something that I'd probably want to watch. So, but yeah, no, it's just. Oh yes, the Cult of Diablo and. Oh.
I know. Last week I just finished up the newest season of Demon Slayer. So.
No, I haven't watched that. I watched.
I haven't even watched the first season of Demon Slayer.
You know what? The animation is so beautiful.
I watched Redo of Healer, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of disturbing.
What that was a great anime.
Yeah, but what he does to the sisters, come on.
Yeah. That's
I mean, it's like,
hey.
I know he's not necessarily a good guy, but you know.
Hey, when you spend years being used and abused and stuff, like it messes with you.
And it's just funny because he's like he wipes the one's memory and then has her play herself.
Yep.
Like all the time. And she never catches on.
Because he keeps using his power on her. That's why.
Probably.
I mean, to be fair, like in the manga, when you read it, it does show him doing some more of the steps and whatnot, so that you definitely like see what the anime is kind of left out there.
Yeah. Well, and then it's always funny. It's like you can always tell when there's a sex scene because it's just some background image for like 2 minutes. It's like, come on, just skip. Oh, but
I don't know. I'm just waiting for the third season of That Time I Got Reincarnated as the Slime.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, technically it'd be the fourth, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's technically the fourth season, but really it's the third season
because third chronological season. Yeah.
Yeah, because technically the
Diaries.
Well, no, not Diaries. Diaries was an offshoot. It's because it was split in two that one season. So, like for example, like how Jabba's reincarnation technically was split in two when it first came out. They are considered
the first season
one.
was 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's how. But no, Slime Diaries was considered a spin-off.
It was. I mean, it was a different studio too.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the animation, but I did like the stories.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a little more basic animation. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and plus,
who's the studio for Reincarnated as a Slime? Is it Madhouse?
I don't remember honestly. Oh no, 8-bit.
Is it 8-bit Studios?
Yeah, Studio 8-bit. That's what they're doing. Yeah, no, that's my all-time favorite anime. So that one I'm excited for. Also, good. Another one that I'm looking forward to, and I know it's another isekai, but isekai happens to be my favorite genre. It's Saga of Tanya the Evil. They're currently in production of season 2, and I'm excited.
That's gonna be a fun one to watch.
It is like the movie, man. That left off on a lot of shit.
Jesus.
I watched the first 4 episodes and kind of lost interest for some reason.
You should go back and rewatch it.
It's fantastic, and then you should watch the movie afterwards. It's even oh, what beauty. Let's just say in the movie, a lot of commies die.
Yeah. All right, I'm out of here, guys.
All right, you see ya.
Later, guys.
I'm just waiting for Goblin Slayer's second season.
Oh, so Goblin Slayer, yeah.